Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.
All right, and we're back.
We're back.
After that short little break. So now we're going to get into all of the movies. So I have them all pulled up. What we're going to do is we're going to cover all the shorts first. Like I said, we will name them all. And if somebody watched them, we will talk about it for just a couple seconds, talk about what we liked, whatever.
Hold on to your butts, everyone. Here we go.
Check it out.
We got all of our notepads out. I said we were covering movies, and all the notepads came out. Speaking of, I need to find mine.
Oh.
Speaking of,
I got it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're talking about shorts to start off. So this thing starts off with.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Do you want to say the thing about shorts is that the title card can be literally anywhere, so I might not have gotten all of the titles of the ones that I watched.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
totally
it's at
fine.
the
I went
beginning.
through and looked at the block and then pieced together what I missed on the title card.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to piece together from the title what movie matches your notes.
Hopefully.
Because that's what I did. I went down and looked afterwards.
Fingers crossed.
So I'm just running down the list of the Tallgrass stuff because it gives me the directors, all that kind of stuff. So also, if you are a filmmaker and I read off your name, I will 1000% butcher it. I am so sorry. I'm not trying to on purpose, obviously. I'm doing it the best of my ability as just a Midwestern white man. I don't know culture names very well. I just can't say them. I'm sorry.
Well, you just I wouldn't say names, just in general. Like, words aren't your thing, so that's okay.
As sometimes I do stumble. I have a stutter already, so it doesn't help when I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's not just like
she's looking out
native-
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm aware. I made him mad during the break, so. Okay, so it's starting off with Amasti Tafi. Sure, I butchered it, but it's called Public Toilet Africa. The director is Kofi Fosu Luba. This is a movie about. Oh yeah, I'm not supposed to do synopsis. I'm so sorry. But
Also, isn't this a feature?
it is. It was the first thing on the list. I'm just
Okay.
going down. They're supposed to all be shorts. It is 95 minutes long, so it is.
That's fair.
It's definitely a feature, but I don't want to skip it because we're doing all the shorts
You're fine.
and then shoot back up to this
yeah.
one because I might forget.
You're good.
So yeah, this is a feature, and then we'll get into the shorts. I'm just trying to make sure I don't miss anything. So I was the one that watched this one. I thought while watching it, I was really confused. There's 3 different storylines that are all happening at once, and it's all happening like. It feels like it didn't give you a lot of time with each storyline to really understand what the purpose of those storylines were and how they really connected. But then they do eventually connect, and I thought how they connected was very interesting, and like what the purpose of them finally connecting were. And I did listen to the filmmaker talk about the movie afterwards, which greatly helped my experience thinking on the movie, because he told me that. Or he told everybody that he wasn't necessarily making a movie that was supposed to be a narrative film. It was supposed to be more of a poem than a story. And so I was like, that makes a lot of sense because it was hard to follow the actual narrative story, but it was more supposed to be the feeling of those moments. Like it was supposed to be a poem about a small country in Africa. And so... once I heard him talk about it a little bit, it made a lot more sense. I ended up liking the film a lot afterwards. He explained the title of the movie, which also greatly helped. He said he named it that, which means Public Toilet Africa, because nobody chooses to use a public restroom. It's out of necessity. You have no choice. There's no other things to go to. You just have to use this toilet. And it's supposed to be representing that everybody in this country has no other choice to do other than what they're doing. Like they're doing what they're doing out of necessity. They feel like they have no choice in their lives. So the stories that we're hearing from these people, they feel like they have no choice to do what they're doing. It's out of necessity that they're doing these things, whether they're good or bad. So that made a lot more sense once he finally tied in what all that like. I didn't quite get it on the first watch, and having him talk about it really made sense and made me enjoy the movie more. We're also not going to rate these. I don't want to put any numbers on any of the filmmakers. It's just talking about them. So it was it was a lot better after hearing because I was just really confused for a lot of it, but then the ending did clear up a lot, and then him talking about it really helped the film. So so that is Amasi Tafi, Ghana. It's about the country of Ghana. So now we are getting into shorts. So the first block on here, this is not in order of what was shown during the festival. It's just the order of how they present it on the website, so that I'm not missing anything. It is the comedy short film program, which our lovely all-time guest decided to go and watch. I was going to because I love comedy, but was not able to. So the first movie on this block is called An Example of Lee Roth's Fog Isolated Under Laboratory Conditions, directed by Ryan Pescart. It was only a 3-minute long short. What did you...
Yeah, so my first note is who's Lee Roth? But I read the synopsis a minute ago, and it's the David Lee Roth from Van Halen. Yes?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny after I figured out who that was. People were cracking up in the theater. The visuals, it was fog, like really close up. So it looked pretty cool. And it was David Lee Roth's like
Gotcha.
like for the whole 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have to say anything else.
Okay.
Yeah. You can keep it as brief as you want. If
Okay.
you really want to expand, you definitely can. But
I mean, there wasn't a lot to it.
yeah,
You know, it was
just a fun
It was, yeah,
little short. Yeah.
yeah.
The next one on there was We Should Get Dinner, directed by Elisa Jimenez Cosio and Lexi Tannenholtz. Producer was Lexi Tannenholtz, which was a 10-minute long comedy short.
Yeah. So this one, through the middle of it, the audio cut out of this one when we were watching it. But after that, they got the audio working. We saw the next one, and then they went back to this one to make sure that we saw the whole thing. And it was funnier the second time around because
you could hear it.
There was like that awkward time of like, is it supposed to be silent or like is something wrong? But yeah, it was very funny. It was very well done. It was very relatable to people. It was about step siblings whose parents got divorced and they lost touch and they were having dinner. But yeah, it was fun. If you like comedy, I think it was good. They did a good job.
Sweet. Next one on here was The Manager Position, directed by Craig Tro. Producer was Andrew Carlberg, Alexandria Boyd, Addison Dent, and Bryant Cook. Yeah, thoughts on that one? A 60-minute long short?
60 minutes?
16.
Oh, 16. I was like, that was not an hour. Yeah, this one was good too. I didn't really have any complaints about it. I mean, yeah, I had notes. I don't know what you guys expect me to write down. I said confusing, super well acted for sure.
That definitely sounds like my notes.
That's what. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was really confused. Per a lot of the shorts, I was confused because there's not. I mean, it's a short. There's not a lot
of pre.
Yeah. You're just kind of like thrown into this thing, and it was very. It was very relatable for people. It was kind of during COVID. I didn't really like the story of it because the guy was like lying to his wife. But overall, I mean, it was funny. It was interesting.
Sweet. This could have been an email. I already like the title. Nicole Kemper and Sarah Allison Hogues, and producer was Nicole Kemper. So.
Yeah, this one was great. They're like working in a shop and they're like freaking out because they had one of the workers called someone instead of sending an email, and it was very relevant because like in today's society nobody wants to answer their phone. Like people have a lot of anxiety like calling people or talking on the phone, and so it was like an extreme version of like please don't call me or talk to me on the phone. So yeah, super relevant, very funny, very well done. The colors were great. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Next one was Time Cop. Justice has a new name, which is awesome because Time Cop is already an established movies. Oh,
I don't recall. Hang on.
okay. It was directed by Ethan Hawthorne Dallas. Producer was Marley Rankin. So you don't remember that one? That's totally fine. You may have missed it. So
it got mixed up because we had to go back and watch that other short.
Yeah.
Because of the audio stuff. So I don't think that I saw this one.
That's totally fine. I would have loved it. I might still watch this one because if I'm remembering correctly, Time Cop is already a thing. That's a hilarious bit online. So that might be by the same people. So
Okay.
that's really fine. Next one was Cruise, which was directed by Sam Rudikoff and producer was Mark Delotiville.
Yeah. This was super funny. It was very unique, very fun. It had kind of
The poster looks dope.
yeah. I'll tell you something really quick.
Sure.
About it. But you know how you like people get scam calls literally all the time now?
Yeah.
It was playing off of that, and this guy had a gun to this other guy's head, and the guy had a phone book, and he just had to open up the phone book and call somebody and try to give them these cruise tickets, and you had 3 chances, and if none of them took them, then he shot you. So like at the very beginning, the first guy gets shot.
This is comedy?
It was really funny
I'm just saying,
it's like,
this sounds like a horror.
I know, but
or
like
thriller or whatever.
I don't want to like give everything away.
Yeah.
But it was
just so everyone knows, all of these movies are still available on Tallgrass virtual for another 7 days, maybe 6 days, depending on when this is out. I think it's 1 week after the festival ends. You can still watch it, and so I think until like next Sunday or something. So if one of these sounds awesome, you can definitely just go like buy a pass to watch. You can buy a pass and watch legitimately all of these if you wanted to, but that's impossible. Or you can just go watch a few of them for a couple bucks or whatever. So
yeah.
'cause you can watch this whole segment for I think $10. So
That's great. Yeah, I would highly recommend that. Everything I saw was really good.
sorry, you can continue with your cruise talk though.
Yeah. This one I don't understand. Oh, because he's giving away tickets to a cruise. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, I thought very relevant, very fun.
I'm really mad I missed this one. Like this whole segment.
Oh yeah.
So the next one was Hot Singles. It is directed by Laura J. Hawking. Producer was Sarah Fleming.
Nope.
Didn't watch it?
No.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for submitting your film, and glad you got picked up here. The Mountain. Director was Claire McDonald. Producer was Robin Forsyth.
Yeah.
Producer was Robin Forsyth.
This one was very intellectual for being a
Comedy.
short and being a comedy. Yeah.
14 minutes long.
It was about mental health, and I mean, there were funny aspects to it, but I wouldn't put it in a comedy. But yeah, it was very good, very well done. I loved the like putting yourself in someone else's shoes kind of.
Awesome.
thing.
Next one was Valid Glitter. Director was Alexander Hagenny. Producer is Michelle Capita Cruz, Alexander Hagenny, and then Patrick Verlin. Yeah, this one. Didn't watch it? Okay, no problem. Thank you for submitting. Glad it got shown at Tallgrass. Gay Dream. Director was Brandon Wilson. Producer was James Reiner.
No, I had to leave early
Gotcha.
from this one, so
Yeah,
I
you had
did.
to see something
There's
else.
one more that I saw,
Okay, well,
but I can just tell you when you get to
yeah,
it.
okay. Another one that was shown during this was Dollar Generals. That was director was Claire Downs and Brendan Gallagher. Producer was Tyler Mercer. And then Dinner Party. Director was Sam Findlay. Producer was Michael Emmett Shimpeck, Sam Findlay, and Ricky Nix. Okay, well, that's the last one on those shorts.
It was called.
However, Well, I watched Dinner Party.
Okay,
So I'll talk about it
perfect,
real
yeah.
quick. It's only 6 minutes long. I talked to one of the producers, Michael Emmett Smeck. I'm so sorry I messed up your name. I talked to you, but I talked to him earlier in the week. We talked actually quite a bit about a lot of different stuff. And made me really nervous to watch the movie because I really liked him. I really liked talking to him, and I'm like, I really hope that I enjoy your movie. This is the movie that I watched at about 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday night, technically Sunday morning, and absolutely like burled out laughing. This is a movie like it's very short, so it's basically a bit, a comedy bit. But it looks really good. The production value seemed very high, and at the very beginning, I was my worries were kind of being warranted, because I was like, this is not really funny, and like, I don't know. I was like, what? Like, this is only 6 minutes. Like, this has got to pick up, and then boom, the thing happens, and I just burled out laughing. And then the rest of the film, so like the other 3 to 4 minutes, were absolutely hilarious. So, and I even believe the guy that was the funny, like the hilarious guy, was the guy that I talked to. So, at least he looked like him. He just had long hair. So, yeah, it was an absolutely, like, a really, really funny short film. I mean, like, you literally just, it's all compact. It's just about a little dinner party, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that does watch it, because once once the bit hits, like, it's hilarious. I actually think I'm going to show them later, to see if they like it as much as I do. So, it seems like that's the end of the short, the comedy shorts. Tristan might have something else though.
Yeah, there was one called Lily.
Okay.
That was really good, and I'm looking on their website. I can't find it
Well,
anywhere,
just
so-
talk about it, and if I see it later, I can
Okay.
I can tell the directors or whatever. But it seems like there's another one called Lily that may have been added late or something like that. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was very relevant again, which I kind of like those, because it's kind of like a timestamp in like
Yeah.
the world, I guess. But yeah, very relevant. It was fun. It was well acted. I didn't really have any
Sweet. Yeah,
qualms
that's
with
okay.
it. Yeah.
So the next block was documentary short film programs, which I believe Trevor. Oh,
Did not.
I thought you did. So like I said, I will just read all of these, and read off the directors. The first one doesn't even have a director on here, but I will go ahead and just read these off to just state the movies that were shown, so you guys are still in the podcast and showcase. So Art Chooses Us was the first movie in there, and then that one does not have a listed director. Video of Visit, the director was Malka Zuli Whirl. And then we have Gina. Director was Catherine Prescott. Producer was Rachel Serrata. Catherine Prescott, Michael S. Smith, and Nate Hertzeller. This is a different language, so I will not really be able to say it, but it's Restoring Neski Imani. Director was Lauren Waters. Producer was Dr. Lauren Smith and Lauren Waters. We also had Stranger Than Rotterdam with Sarah Driver. The director was Louis Kolster and Noah Kolster. Producers was Louis Kolster and Noah Kolster, and then Sarah Driver. Free to Care. Director was Chris Temple and Owen Dubeck. Producer was Joe Jensen and Jenna M. Kelly. And then the last one on this block was A Slice of Paradise. The director was Liam Tangum, and the producer was Michael Nicholas. So that was all the documentary shorts that were shown. Thank you guys so much for submitting all of your films. Sorry we could not watch them, but so glad you guys were able to be a part of Tallgrass Film Festival. Next one was the drama shorts. I don't think anybody did those. I was going to, but was not able to. But I did watch this first one because it won an award. This first one is called Kiddo. The director was Paul Taylor, and producer was Alex Megaro. Yeah, this took a little bit to get going, in my opinion. But for me, it was more of a comedy than was a drama. I think it was considered a drama because of the the wife and husband dynamic and them just struggling with being a pregnant couple. Which kind of make me the guy who was obviously supposed to be an asshole husband, which kind of sucked. But it was all purposeful, and it was supposed to showcase what you have to sacrifice when you have a kiddo. And yeah, it was really interesting. I like the plot switch. It took a little bit to get there, and it took me a little bit longer to understand what was happening than apparently somebody else, because I talked to somebody else about the movie, and I think they understood it a little bit faster than I did. But overall, yeah, really enjoyed it. It's a quick 11 minutes. Yeah, really enjoyed that one. Next one on there was The Plumber. Director was Kate Carson, and producer was Jay Everly. Next one was The Closing Night. Director was Sikong Zhu. Producer was Ella Rowan Chen and Breely Yukli. I did not watch this one, but I did talk to the producer of the film during an interview, so that will be a separate episode. We have a bunch of interviews that we're putting out, so she can talk. I will just show you her talking about the film and such. It seemed like a really good one that I haven't had the chance to watch yet, but I will be watching it because any filmmaker that I talk to, I'm making it a point to watch all of their films. Yeah, so I can't say much about it. I just kind of know the premise because I didn't watch it. But thank you so much for Breely for talking to us and doing that interview. We have Maddie. Director was Zane Rubin. There's a lot of producers here, so just give me a minute here with Rob Hatch Miller, Marie Alice Rodriguez, Danny Hamui. Executive producers were Addison Reck, Alex Guz, Kelly Zincone, Andrew Solander, Rob Hatch-Miller, and then Marie Alice Rodriguez. And then we have Elevate. Director was Dylan Boom. Producer was Connie Lowe Stresch, Jordan Horowitz, and Andrew Karlberg. Red Line, which I believe won an award, which I watched, so I can say a little bit about this one. Director was Jake Brystrong. Producer was Jake Brystrong, Celie Jenkins, Ian David Pusung, Josh Folland, and Theo Cowan. This movie is about a subway, and it made me never want to go on a subway my entire life. It's about going to a subway late at night, and there's somebody that looks like they're tweaking out or just being overly aggressive to nobody. But then does the whole were you looking at me kind of thing to an innocent bystander, and just makes him go into a shell. And it took a turn that I wasn't quite expecting, which I think was interesting. And the overall point was to care about the people that are around you, even though that there are people around you that are shitty. I think was kind of an integral point, which I think was good. Yeah. Because he was so invested and got into the shell because this person kind of came at him that he didn't even notice or care that somebody next to him was badly injured and needed help. And even though people like rallied around him trying to help him, he was so in his shell that he like wouldn't help and didn't have the capacity to help when even like specifically asked. So I thought it was very interesting. It wasn't the way that I thought it was going to go, and it had a message that I wasn't expecting. It was really good and looked absolutely fantastic, and the actors were phenomenal. This is definitely a drama, and the guy that was acting all crazy did a great job of having that switch in the middle of the movie, and the guy that kind of got in a shell, like really, like it was on him to show that. As an actor, and he did a great job with it. The Pulpit Prelude was the next movie on.
I
the
did
docket.
watch that one.
Okay, sweet. Director was Tolson Morohufel. I'm so sorry. Producer was Tolson Morohufela. Christopher Commons, Sarah Finley, and Linda Anderson. Yeah, tell us a little about.
It's a trailer. It's a short.
Prelude.
Yeah, basically, and it's just a short version of or a short teaser for their movie, basically. It was definitely interesting. A little hard to follow, if I'm recalling correctly, but I mean, it gets the basic point across of what the movie's going to be about. So
Awesome.
Nice.
Oh, and I saw this one too. Sweet. Desi Standard Time Travel. Director was. I even talked to the director, and I'm still gonna mess up his name. I'm so sorry because you are gonna be listening to this. You told me you were. Kasif Pasta, and producers were Siam, Valeria, Eric Bizard, and Kasif Pasta. I'm so sorry if I butchered your name. I talked to you several times this weekend. This is the two guys that we talked to at the very end on Wednesday, if you remember that, Trevor. Or maybe not. You were pretty drunk that night.
Wednesday?
It was right before you left. It was the two people from Canada.
No, I was sober when I talked to them.
You were not sober when we talked to them.
Well, I was definitely not drunk.
That was right before we left, and you told us that you were drunk.
I introduced you to them, if
Yes.
I remember.
Uh-huh. I'm just saying you got home.
I don't like this light you're painting me in here.
You had told us that you were really drunk that night, and that was the last people that we talked to, and that was the last thing you did before you left. So
I don't remember that at all.
But nonetheless, I talked to them both several times throughout the film festival. I talked to Eric quite often, who is a producer of the film. We have interviews with both the director, Kasif,
Yeah.
and Eric. We have interviews with both of them. They were both very enthusiastic to come talk to us and do an interview when I set up in the lounge. And the movie, I told them both. I watched it. That was one of the movies that I watched in the morning, really late night. And that was the movie that made me cry, or I was on the brink of tears. I will tell you what I told them. I was very confused and a little. It felt a little standard to start, and then the twist, or not really a twist. It's just the plot actually started, and it was very not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a this is just a son dealing with the death of his father, but it's very different from that. It's called Dasani Standard Time Travel, so there's some time travel aspects of it. They had told me what the movie was about beforehand, and I did not understand what that meant at all. And after I watched it, I completely understand what they meant. And I highly recommend this one. It was extremely heartfelt. If anybody's dealt with any kind of loss, whether it's a father or somebody else, or they're dealing with being a first-time father, it is kind of centered towards the male audience. As Eric kind of talked to me about, his passion is showing films that kind of go against toxic masculinity and showing emotion and males and showing that it's okay and stuff like that. And this kind of has a piece of that. He didn't write the movie or anything, but that's why he joined the project, because he realized what it was about. Really loved the director and stuff like that. So this is the one that almost made me cry. There weren't a whole lot. I don't think there were any actually that did make me cry, but this really got me on the brink of tears, just because of the hardships of, like, the father-son dynamic is just a extremely difficult one to navigate, and this shows it in a a fresh idea, fresh way that was really, really cool. So highly recommend that one. I said it multiple times on our interviews. So that is the end of the drama ones. I guess I kind of got the drama movies, even though I didn't go to the segment. I watched 2 of them. The next one on here, hopefully we had somebody that watched global documentary short films.
No.
Well, we'll read these ones off as well. Susan and Leslie.
I did see that one.
Okay, so maybe this is the one that
No, this one played before one of the other features.
Gotcha. Director was Claire Barnett, and producer was Claire Barnett.
This was really good. It's about an elderly couple, the woman who is blind and the husband, who are both very elderly, getting ready for a trip to go to the grocery store.
Okay.
It's very heartfelt. It's very touching. It's just kind of a peek into the lives of people that deal with that kind of thing. Yeah. Popping one for
Awesome.
the boys.
Yep. No, for the old people.
That's right.
Here's to you. Susan and Louise.
Leslie.
Leslie.
Yep.
I've only had one drink, I swear. Opera for Earth.
I saw that one
Presence,
too, actually.
The Art of Earth's Festival. Director was Tony King. Producer was Jonathan Clayton, Telia Harmon, Jason Strickland, and Tony King.
Yeah, this was good. It's about a school in Georgia who do not have the funding for art programs of any kind, music, physical art, stage, whatever.
Yeah.
No funding at all. And there is a company called Opera for Earth that goes around, and they're a nonprofit from what I remember. It's 3 opera singers, and they teach opera to children that don't have exposure to that. So this group of children that they taught, elementary schoolers, all had extensive knowledge of like R&B and rap and hip hop as told by the superintendent. And they came and taught these kids opera, and they put on a concert at the end of the week, and it was very cool to watch happen. I think their website is operaforearth.org or something like that.
Awesome.
That's
Sweet.
great.
Off topic, not off topic, on topic, but not movie going downwards. What is your thought on opera? Are you a huge opera fan as
I
a
like
musician?
opera. I enjoy it. I think it's a art form that people don't appreciate as much. I like the.
I say that as somebody that but I don't know if I could ever see myself going and watching an opera thing. So I'm wondering.
You definitely should. At least I think everybody should at least one point in their life go, treat it like you're back in 1920 or whatever, and
I
dress
just see
up.
Phantom
and go
of
see
the
it.
Opera, and I'm just like this. I don't know, man.
Well, and that's not even opera. There's opera in it, but it's a musical.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I just like.
Maybe.
No, but I like. I guess I don't know. Maybe I should because I like theater much more when I'm there than when I see it on the screen.
Well, and it's always very theatrical and very dramatic. And no, I've played in a few operas and I've seen a few, and
that's why I was asking you
always enjoyed
specifically
them.
because that's your world.
Yep.
So, okay, on to more of these documentaries. Soldier.
Nope.
Okay, I thought maybe we were gonna get lucky. You just happened to
Well,
see all of
both
these
those two were before features.
another ones.
Yeah.
Director was Justin Zimmerman. Producer Justin Zimmerman and Brandon Reed. Next one on here was Stories Within.
Wait a second. What was Soldier about?
Soldier was about Soldier focuses on Daniel Krug, a heroic firefighter, father
Nope,
of 5.
never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
I did see Stories Within though.
Okay. Stories Within. Sweet. Director was PJ Ravel. Producers were Hannah Hung and Andrew Lee. Co-producer Lily Heim.
So this one was about Pacific Islander and Asian biracial people who and their struggles with fitting in with demographics with where they live. Asian American children that are or that have Asian and white parents who grow up in America where they don't really, to their white friends they're Asian, and to their Asian friends they're white, and they don't really have a place to fit in. And it's them talking to their younger selves. So one of them, you'll see an elderly gentleman who refers to this person as Steve, which is his name. And he'll say, "Dear Steve, I know that things are not great right now, but then one day this is going to happen." And some of them were a little bit more touching. One of them talked about how she would encounter a friend who she would lose due to her race, and how her friend wasn't able to handle that. And yeah, it was very touching. What was not touching was the woman behind me who was verbally expressing her distaste that the feature hadn't started yet and that we were still watching the short. Yeah. That was not a great scene, but I thought this was a very, very touching, and I think it would have hit its target audience well had they been there.
Awesome. Next one was $75,000. Director was Musi Togo. Producer was Lee Frenzoni. And the studio, National Des Arts Contemporaneous. I probably said that wrong. See, I just don't know words in general. I did see this. This is what showed before the Public African...
I wonder if these were the shorts that played before the features. I bet that's what this is. Yeah.
Or the documentaries that showed before shorts. Because there were also... I don't know if I did see it.
There's not one that I've seen, and I saw several before the features.
Well, we're not done yet.
Okay.
It's possible.
Just hold on.
Yeah. But anyways, this is the weirdest one I saw. This is a very abstract, artistic, feature doc. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's, or not, definitely not feature, but narrative doc. I really don't know. I think it's documentary about the racism in Africa against albino black people.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
And I think it's the duality of some cultures finding them as being the devil and other ones seeing them from God.
Interesting.
And how they were stolen from their homes. And so I guess I never specifically said sold, I don't think. But the $75,000 makes me feel like that was maybe a target price point for these people, because there were certain times where it showed them, it told the story of them being taken away from their families and their family being murdered so that they could have them.
Wow.
And all of it was shown through either a close-up of a like microscopic close-up of an albino person's skin, going through their body basically. Who was naked. You didn't see like nudity, but it was like a naked albino person's body. So like you see every aspect of their body, but heavily animated. Every other piece of the film was animated. And it was all see-through animation, see-through 3D animation.
Interesting.
So yes, it was just very abstract and weird. I know that sounds like, what the hell are you talking about? It was also, what the hell am I looking at? Like, not in a bad way. I was just, you're really trying to pick out what, and it's all being narrated. So the narration is kind of the focal point, in this weird 3D animation is kind of supposed to be kind of depicting and showing you the narration in this weird abstract way. And so it was very interesting but very difficult to follow because of how abstract and weird the thing was. And it was also narrated in a different language, so I was reading the subtitles as well, which is totally fine. I don't mind reading subtitles at all, but it was just another aspect of trying to understand everything that's happening, and I'm also trying to read it as well. So definitely not bad in any means. Was just really was just an odd one. And this is kind of like when you go to a film festival, you don't know what you're going to get yourself into. That's what this film was. It's not that it's like, that was crappy, this is shit. It's just, you would never expect to see something like this ever. Like, it's just so outside of the norm of art that it's kind of, you're trying to dissect it while watching it, and then you're still trying to dissect it later because you're trying to process what really happened. And I think I got the main message of I mean, I hope the message was supposed to be about that's what I got from it. Was the African racism against the albino community inside of Africa.
Gotcha.
I hope that's what I got from it. So I hope that was kind of the point. If not, maybe I'm way off. But anyway, so that's very, very interesting way to showcase a film. The Body is a House of Familiar Rooms. I believe this won an award. Did anybody want? Okay.
Did not.
Director was Alosi Sherrod and Lauren Welch. Producer was Alosi Sherrod. So yeah, I believe that this one won an award. The next one I know that Tristan watched. In the Search of Pregame. We talked to this director and producer, Jason R.A. Foster, quite a while last night. So yeah, tell your thoughts. He followed us on Twitter, so he's probably listening. So.
Yeah, I don't think I have negative comments, so that's good. You did great, Jason. Yeah, In Search of Pregame it was very different. It was very different than typical movie. A lot of it was him shooting baskets, and then there was some narration or things played, but it was mostly words on the screen. But I think the coolest thing in this short was that he had director's notes written on the screen. So it would be like talking about the story about his family and things. And then I would say director's note playing hook from this song by this person. And
are you sure that wasn't just the subtitles?
No, he intentionally put it in there.
Okay.
Because
I'm just
someone...
every single one of these...
It confused me at first.
Okay, because every single one of these films had subtitles.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
It confused me at first. I was like, why? What? Yeah, but then someone asked him in the Q&A afterward why he
Gotcha.
did that, and he said he was having trouble, like, you know, it was the low budget. You know, he doesn't have thousands of dollars or however much to spend on something like this, and so he was like, he thought to himself, if I could make this how I want it, if I could use anything, if money wasn't an option, what would I put in here? And so he wrote what he would have put there.
Yeah.
And he said, hopefully you know the song and you were singing with it. And I told him later, we got to talk to him at the gala last night, but I told him, like, I really liked that because I did. If I knew the song, I was singing it in my head, not even really intentionally. It was just like, oh yeah, sing the song.
Was that one of the songs?
No, I can't remember what the songs were, but I thought that was very unique and interesting and a great way to use what you have instead of making it suffer because you don't have means to do something.
Yeah. Awesome.
And he had asked me later what I connected with in the film, and I don't know if connection is the right word because it was a lot about his family and basketball and all those things. But I really enjoyed the family aspect of it. And he talked about being born in Jamaica, and he had his like uncles and cousins voice. They like recorded something and sent it to him. And he was like, honestly, I don't know everything that they were saying. Like some of the stuff I couldn't understand. So it was really cool. And I enjoyed it so much more being able to talk with him.
This was just me, but maybe you'll agree. Do you feel like he gave me vibes that him and Graham would hit it off?
Maybe.
I don't know what it was about him, but just talking to him, I was like, I feel like him and Graham could be good friends. Now he lives in, well, I guess I don't want to give away where he lives, but he doesn't live in this area, so not really feasible. But I was just talking to we were talking for quite often, and I was like, I feel like you and Graham might have some.
There you go, Jason. You can listen to an episode that Graham is on and see if you see if he's your cup of tea. But it was very, very cool to see that.
Yeah. And talk to him afterwards about the film.
Definitely.
I feel so bad for Trevor because we haven't hit one of his short segments yet. Because now we're doing horror and bloody shorts, which is another Tristan one.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm over here talking a lot because I just have to introduce everything. Tristan's.
I'm patient.
Trevor, you can go get another thing of whiskey if you want.
I'm still working on my first one.
Oh, okay. I can't see it. So deep.
I'm gonna say really quick. I already looked at what they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Several of them are not on there and I have them, or they are on there and I don't have them.
Okay.
So I'm just warning you.
That's totally fine. Kay. Yeah. After we get done with them, whatever ones you have, like I said, if it comes around later, I can introduce the director and the producers, but I still want to make sure that you get your notes on this stuff. So, Deep Clean, director was B. Weasley and producer was Carmia Samut Kanalu.
I think you need to tell us that these were scary or if you personally got scared or not.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't get scared at all on Deep Clean.
Wow.
I don't think
straight gut punch to the
I'm just kidding. I don't think it was supposed to be.
I'm just kidding.
You're a little jerk.
I can't have a podcast without being hard on you. A little bit.
I thought it was very cool. I enjoyed it. It was again, a little bit about mental health, but not like shove it down your throat mental health. And there was a little twist at the end, and it was kind of like about her hitting rock bottom and coming back into the world, realizing what her actions were going to amount to as she got older.
Okay.
So it was very cool.
Awesome. Witchy. Director was Liz Manzahill. Producers were Elena Winsberg. See, even normal names, I just can't do. If your name's Robbie, I got you. Bobby, I got you. But Robbie De Villes and Liz Manzahill. This one?
Yes.
Okay. You're 2 for 2.
I know, it's great. This wasn't necessarily my cup of tea.
Did it scare you?
No. It was more kind of like funny.
Funny horror? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not funny, haha. Funny horror.
Funny horror.
We know
Yeah.
we know a couple people from Mulvane that's one of their
Yeah.
that's their cup of tea.
Yeah.
Comedy horror. So.
Yeah. I think several of these were comedy horror, but yeah, it was well acted. It was
Horror-y.
my
Isn't that the word we came up for it?
yeah.
Is there a W before that?
No.
I'm just saying that's kind of what it
That's the joke he said. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I have a lot to say about
Okay.
it.
No, that's totally
Okay.
cool.
It wasn't. I did enjoy my time.
Are you kidding me?
It
I
was
about
good.
to introduce the next one.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
I just wanted to make it clear, like, just
still-
because it
yeah.
wasn't.
Your cup of tea. It still had some
Yes.
things that you enjoyed about it. Mickey Dogface.
No.
Director was Zach Fleming. Producer Zach Fleming plus Lizzie Astor. The Well.
Yes.
Directed by Peter Stanley Ward and Chris Muzzlewhite. Chris Muzzlewhite.
Yeah. Again, didn't totally love the morals of this film. It was there were like kids being bullies to this other kid, and then
Gotcha.
at the end, the kid being bullied switches places with them and just leaves them in a well. So
Hey, go for it, dude.
I just okay. Anyway,
Beat your bullies.
it was animated. Not many of them
Oh.
were animated.
Was it
which
3D
was cool.
animation, 2D animation?
It looked like a video game.
So 3D animation.
Yes, I think.
3D
It was-
is like Pixar level where there's like a depth to them. 2D is like drawn.
Okay, yeah, no, it was
3D.
3D. Very cool concept of like a well that grants your wishes.
Oh.
Yeah. And
But for you, just the message was a little,
yeah, I just
which is a horror movie or whatever. So like sometimes the
it
messages
makes
aren't
sense.
supposed
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be. What you would do is the right thing.
right.
It's the scary or demented thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was enjoyable.
I saw a couple animations
Yeah.
that were decent. So, Drift. Director was Caitlin Cody and Robert Thomas. Producer was Austin Steffens. Now, I want to do a little quick shout out because we know Caitlin Cody personally.
Oh, she was at
Yes, she was
the Mulvane one too.
Mhm. Yep, she
Okay.
had a movie there.
Good for her. Good for you.
I did not know that this was your movie, Caitlin. I did watch this the other night because, well, maybe I watched it because of you, but I forgot that I watched it because of you. I had notes of what movies to watch because I met the people, and I guess I
Oh.
didn't write that it was you. But nonetheless, I did watch this as well, so we can both kind of take a couple
Oh, yeah.
notes on it. So yeah, what did you think about Drift?
I was confused. I got really confused with the double people. I don't want to give too much away.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
But yeah, that confused me. And I mean, that's just the art of a short is that will probably happen.
Yeah.
I liked the what is that? Scenery?
Yeah. Scenery was great.
Yeah.
And the
I thought-
color.
Yes.
The dark and toned was very well done. That's my highest praise for the movie. I've only seen 2 of Caitlin's movies, but both have been very high production value.
Yeah.
And this one, I think, a little bit more so, and very much enjoyed that aspect of it. I loved the tone, the darkened tone of it. I thought that was really good. I don't think I got scared either, but
No.
I do understand the horror aspect, or more the thriller aspect of it. And yeah, overall, I thought it was a pretty solid thriller. I wouldn't quite put it horror, but
yeah.
thriller, thriller short.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought it had I liked the ending
Gotcha.
just because typically I probably wouldn't, but because I didn't know the characters very well because it was a short, I was more lenient on it, I guess.
If you're going to like the characters, then you care more about the outcome.
Yeah.
If it's just like a 10, 12 minute, this one.
Like I just met
minutes.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't care if they get got.
Yeah, sure.
Not saying that's what happens, but. Next one is Memento Mori.
I did see that one.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Paul O'Flanagan was the director, and then producer was Louis Chonchur. Yeah.
Animated, and it was incredible.
Awesome.
That's
awesome.
It
great.
was very, very good.
2D animation, right?
2D animation. Yep. Yeah. It's about a post-mortem photographer in the Victorian era who gets has a pretty wild night.
Ooh.
Does he fuck the?
No,
Okay.
does not.
It's like Wild Night could go different ways.
It was a pretty intense night.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. That's an Irish film. Sweet. Sorry, I just saw it on there in the details. Thought that was cool. The next one is The Bottom. Director is Morgan Rutari O'Sullivan and James Kotz. And then producer is Ballerina Semino. Did you watch this?
Yes.
one? Okay.
I did.
And we actually talked to the, I don't know if it was a producer.
His name was
or-
Jesse, I thought.
I thought so too. So he may not be a producer. He may have, did he act in it?
Maybe.
Was he in it?
Maybe.
Well, you saw it. I didn't see it.
Well, but they look different sometimes.
Okay, that's fair. So we did talk to somebody that was a part of the film.
Yeah.
So great to talk to you, Jesse. You were really fun to talk to last night
Yeah.
about horror movies. He heard me talk about one of my stories of watching a horror movie and was very intrigued and was like,
He heard me talking about how.
oh, you don't like physical horror.
Yeah.
But you love horror movies.
Yes.
Meaning physical horror, like real life.
Like haunted houses or people dressed
being
up.
scared. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no.
And so he...
And he's the opposite.
Yeah. And so he came in and talked to us a little bit, or for quite a while in the night. But nonetheless, yeah, great conversation. What did you think about The Bottom?
Yeah, I was really confused on this one again. But I mean, the guy right there, he was one of the main guys.
Yeah.
And he did a Q&A at the end.
The guy right there is on my computer. It
Yeah,
shows
sorry.
either a
He's
poster
naked.
or you see some dick?
No, he covers it with his
Oh, okay.
hands, and he talks about how his hands probably stuck to it because it's freezing cold outside. Something that was very cool that I
And this guy said he didn't think it was a horror movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fucking horror movie.
Yeah, he
if you
didn't-
think your hands are stuck to your dick, that means you're gonna rip them off.
I don't think
that's a fucking horror movie.
I don't think it was. I
He-
mean, I never saw it, but
Yeah, but I'm just
Anyway.
saying that sounds like a very horrifying scenario.
well, he had a gun pointed to him too.
Ah.
So.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
it's-
Yeah, I mean, it didn't scare me, but
Yes, yeah,
it was. Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I enjoyed trying to like figure it out. I still didn't really figure it out, but the scenery.
Don't worry, Jesse. I'll watch it and figure it out.
Yeah, Easton always figures them out if I
Mm-hmm.
don't. The scenery was absolutely beautiful, and he said during the Q&A that it was at a lodge, a deer lodge. Is
Yeah.
that what it's called?
A cabin.
A hunting
Hunting lodge,
place.
yeah.
Yeah. And he asked them if he could like rent a part of the area
Yeah.
outside by this like river
Yeah.
to film in, and they told him no.
Yeah.
He tried and he couldn't. So he ended up joining the lodge, like paying to join the lodge, and then he took the rest of his like crew out or whatever
Uh-huh.
and went out there like while people are
Hunting.
hunting. And he was naked in the river.
That's got to be cold as fuck too,
It looked really cold.
and dangerous.
It did look
You
really
got
cold.
people
Yeah.
just-
Well, Andy's pointing a gun at him, so it was very interesting and very well done.
feel scared for those actors. You got a bunch of people with guns, and you just see someone pointing a gun at a naked guy in a river.
And then they make him get into the water, to the bottom.
Yeah. Jeez. Well, I'm glad they all survived. That's good. Yeah, I can't wait to watch that one. So the next one is In the Mountains. Director is Wally Chung. Producer is Wally Chung.
I did not.
I did. Because I talked to
Ooh.
Wally Chung for a significant amount of time while one of the biggest movie of the weekend, the documentary about you were there, the the one that was packed at the
The
Orpheum.
Embarrassment.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was showing. I showed up really late and it was packed. I'm like, I don't want to try to find a seat. The 30 minutes left in the dock. There's no point in just trying to watch piece together the last 30 minutes of this dock. So I walked outside and Wally Chung was out there. So we talked for the last 30 minutes. And I was like, hey, I'm going to watch a movie. I don't know what the hell it's about, but I'll watch it. This is a 2D animation movie about a couple that goes up like Devil's Mountain or something. And at the top of the mountain, there are devils that they are trying to impregnate the woman.
Oh.
And they
Was
murder.
not expecting that.
They murder all of them. I'm sorry if I just gave away the whole entire movie. I'm so sorry. But it was it's all 2D drawn animation, which I thought it's very cool. Seeing the whole scenery drawn in just black and white, like charcoal basically coloring of a whole entire film. It had turns that I was not expecting. Obviously, as it kind of made you be like, "What the hell?" But yeah, and I like how not necessarily goofy the fight was, but how weak the devils were or whatever. And I thought that was really fun and a goofy part. And then just how over the top some of the two characters were. I thought was very interesting. Had a fun time. I was like, what the hell is happening? Because it's only like 5 minutes. Yeah, it's 5 minutes exactly. At least that's what the runtime says. And a lot happens in those 5 minutes. Yeah, there's stuff to do with elk jerky. So boom.
Okay.
The House Sitters is the next movie, directed by Graham High, spelled the same way as our very. No, it's not. Never mind. I'm so sorry. Graham High, and then producer Graham High, Brittany High, Aaron Pineda, and Matt McConkey.
Yeah, I did see this one.
Well, you saw most of these on here.
It was, yeah, but I have 2, 3, 4 on my thing that are on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was very fun. It was a little more like flamboyant, I guess, or like kind of like over the top than my typical taste, but it was still really fun. It was straight up comedy horror. Good night. Comedy horror.
Horror-y.
It was straight up horror-y. And it was, so they were there too. The
director.
Yeah.
Director, producers, whatever.
Yes.
Graham High and Brittany High.
Yes, they're brother and sister.
Oh.
And
Definitely
this
thought
is
they
very
would
cool.
be husband and wife.
She said that they were standing there beside each other, and she was like, I just want to make something very clear. People always think we're together, but we are brother and sister. It's like, okay. But something very cool. So they had a film in last year's Tallgrass, and their father is deaf, and they didn't have closed captions on a lot of the stuff, and they didn't have ASL interpreters, and they brought this to Tallgrass's attention, and they closed captioned everything, just about everything, and had ASL interpreters everywhere that was needed.
As far as what I know, of course they did hire ASL people to for all of the for the major events.
Yeah.
And then I believe they asked all the filmmakers if they would give them a closed captioning version of the film, and most people
That's great.
submitted a closed caption version of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the filmmakers who.
Well, they said a shout out to Tallgrass for taking the steps to do that.
But I'm saying it wasn't Tallgrass that did all they didn't do all the work.
Right.
Now they obviously were like they made sure
Put in the steps.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also want to give a testament to all the filmmakers to
For
put in
doing
the
that.
extra work to do closed captioning, and then be willing to take that step and be inclusive and help people that want to go watch these movies that can't have these things that make them not be able to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had a guy from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend in this film, which is crazy. Very cool, I thought.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense because the TV show's. No, that's all right.
Yeah.
I'm
Watch your
not
mouth.
saying it. I'm not saying it.
Good. It's wonderful.
Yep, that's why he's in it, because he's a wonderful. Yep.
Okay.
What? They were able to get wonderful actors. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, they were. So
Yes.
Matt and Aaron are the two main actors in the film, actresses, and the filmmaker told us that they had this idea and they went to him or pitched the idea to him.
Wait,
and
are the brothers playing as husband and wife in the
brother
movie?
and sisters? No.
Okay.
Those people, the guy is gay,
Okay.
and the girl, they live together. Like,
Gotcha. Sorry, I
They're
see
like-
a picture that has just a man and a woman in a bedroom.
yeah.
Like in the same bed, and I'm like, wait a second. If it's a brother and sister, they're working the movie together.
No,
they're the
there's
main
two different people.
They're the main two actors and actresses. In
Yeah.
the picture. Okay.
4 different people, I guess.
Okay.
But
Go ahead.
yeah, no, it was really fun. A lot of people really liked it. Very lighthearted comedy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
good.
Well, you got 4 more.
Yeah.
I will let you talk about all those.
Okay.
Because I don't need to say the directors, producers, because I don't know them yet.
I don't know either.
So I'm gonna go make a drink, and you can just talk about
Okay.
all these movies.
Okay.
Anyone else need anything?
You can talk to me about them.
I
and
love
I'll-
that.
No, you're
just
talking
sit
to
here.
the thousands of people that are listening to this podcast.
Shout out to all you guys, mostly from Tallgrass. Thank you. Okay, Trevor.
Yes, hello.
Here's what put your phone away and listen to me.
I'm trying to get the video together for release later this week.
So nice of you. Okay. So I saw a movie called Deliver.
Really? Tell me about that.
It was weird.
No way.
Yeah.
Were you scared?
I still don't really understand what was happening.
Yeah.
I was not scared.
Oh.
It was like these people were pregnant, but they like signed up to give birth to someone else's baby. They were like surrogate
Surrogates. Yeah.
mothers, but they were on this like campus. They were on this like this like secluded, like they were calling it something.
Okay.
It felt like an institution, but it wasn't
Sure.
an institution. I can't remember what they were calling it.
Okay.
But I don't get it. Creepy stuff was going on.
Fabulous.
There were creepy people.
Love that.
It was enjoyable.
Good.
I wish I could have got some more information.
Hey, you do what you can.
Yeah, it was good though.
Good.
The next one is Shark.
Ooh, did you like that one?
Okay, let me just say this, everyone. It starts off with a dental scene. A person at the dentist. I freaking hate the dentist.
But you love sharks.
She does hate the dentist.
I hate the dentist though, and it started off.
Oh, so you were real scared when it started.
It started off with someone getting a needle in their mouth.
And then you were like, ah!
And I was like, this is the why are you doing this? It's the worst thing. So I really didn't appreciate that.
Sorry if you
first
can hear
of
the
all.
elephant in the other room. Ethan's blowing his nose.
I didn't appreciate that. And it was the whole thing was like these people just they're dating and then they get engaged and then they are on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
And
And then the shark shows up.
it was giving me strong Rhonda vibes from New Girl.
Okay.
Rhonda, you got Rhonda.
Where's
you know
the
what I'm talking about? The shark doesn't come until the end.
Spoilers.
So I have been listening this whole time. So there's a heavy dentist scene at the beginning. So
Yeah.
if I were to make a horror movie that would legitimately scare you to the core, it'd be a movie about a demented dentist.
Oh my
that
gosh.
messes up people's
I'm
mouths. as a
stop
horror
talking. I literally I did not want to watch that movie when I saw
movie. I
the
can't wait to
dentist
make
scene.
this movie and make you watch it because you're
No.
my wife, so
No.
you have to go and support my movies.
I will come in after that scene.
No,
I
no,
don't-
that's the movie.
No. No, just no. That I'm drawing the line there. The line is drawn.
You hear it here first. My wife will not support me in my work. Carry on. Keep talking about
I
the
don't want
movie
to
called
punch you in
Shark.
your face. Okay.
We have a loving relationship. These are just jokes, okay? I would never actually do that to her.
Thank you.
Unless I think it would be a good movie.
But I would.
Ugh. And then I would complain to Easton about how awful.
So when are we going to work on the script?
That's
So-
I'm ready, man.
Shark. The jokes were just going too far for me, and that was the point of the horror was that it went too far, and she didn't believe that it was an actual shark. I'm sorry for giving some things away, but
No, talk about the film. Yeah.
yeah, it was again super well done, very well acted, very fun. It just made me want to crawl out of my skin.
I will, maybe I'll go in here and post and put a spoiler warning at the very beginning
Yeah,
of this so everyone knows that we're talking about everything about the film. So
yeah.
don't feel bad if you do say something.
Okay.
We're not necessarily going to say everything about the movie, but it is
Right.
possible that we have to, especially with these shorts where there's, it is only 8 to
Yeah.
12 minutes, 15 minutes. So it's hard not to say a piece about the movie. 'Cause
Although
that's piece. Although what?
I saw a short called Canceled.
Okay.
which was the first one that they played, and I don't remember what it was about.
I
feel
told you to
really
take
bad.
notes.
I said, "Great, very well done."
Those are not notes that.
Listen.
Those
I
are the
feel
kind
really
of notes
bad.
that I took.
I feel
Oh.
really bad about it.
I specifically took notes that made me remember what the movie was about, so then it jogs my memory on what I watched, so then I could say something about it, not just good, great.
That was too much. That's too much effort. So Canceled was great.
I have, I think, 12 full pages.
Oh
of,
my gosh, no.
yeah, of actual
Okay,
like.
I have one more.
How many horror? No, I'm just kidding.
I saved my
The
favorite for
best-
last.
Ooh.
I really like it a lot.
Did it
It's
scare
called
you?
No. Well, it was kind of like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
I wasn't like scared to my core, but I was like, ooh.
What was it?
It's called Slasher Squad.
You told us to watch this.
I did tell you to
Yes,
watch
it. Is,
it.
it is on a browser on my phone to watch. So
I
on
love
the
that.
virtual screening. So
Yeah, I highly recommend it. Super fun. It's like, it's not at all what I was expecting, but it's so short that like, I don't know. It's just, I think it's perfect. It's wonderful. It's
Yeah.
animated, 3D animation. It just has like a little twist at the end, and it's like, yeah, it's like that at the end.
It's
Okay.
like what at the end?
It's like, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that first time.
Yeah. So there you go.
awesome. The next one we've got here, okay, that's the end of the horror and bloody shorts.
I have to pee really bad. Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think you have identity shorts, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, go for it. Identity short film program. Did you have this, Trevor?
No.
We'll get to Trevor's thoughts eventually. He looks annoyed over there.
I was smiling. How can I be annoyed if I'm
It
smiling?
looks like it looks like an annoyed smile. But Unbound, director was Sarah Moshman, producer was Sarah Moshman and Casey Graff. I believe this won an award. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling I think it did. It was on my list to watch for some reason, and it was not the director or producer, so I believe it's because it was a winner, but I could be wrong. We also have Half. Director was Jacob Roberts. Producers were Drew Levin, Jacob Roberts, David Shane. Executive producer was Titania Kelly. Yep. We'll go with that. Valentine. Director was Beck Kitsis. Chris McNabb. Producers were Katie Drake, Bettner, and Zach Fleming, and then Beck Kitsis. Mama Retreat, directed by Eileen Alvarez, and then Kate Halen Downsey. You've Never Been Completely Honest, directed by Joey Izo, and producer was Andy Roos and Jesse Odio. Love's Baby Soft, director is Lainey Zipoy. Producers were Vicky Spiegli, Stacy Capone, and Dawn Downey. I did watch this because I had an extensive conversation with Stacy Capone, and this was another movie I watched late at night because I really wanted to watch her movie, and I was hoping to talk to her the next day and be able to do an interview with her because this was another movie I absolutely loved. It's a movie about it's a coming of age short, specifically tailored towards women, but I think it's something that everybody can kind of relate to. Of like when you're a middle schooler and you just feel like you should be older than you are, you feel much more mature than you are, and you're ready for things that you may or may not be, and you're kind of pushing the bounds of doing these things. And no one's listening to me right now. It's totally fine. You guys are both on your phones. It's also like as a as a preteen or whatever, you feel like you have the whole world. Your parents are stupid or whatever, and that's very well showcased. This is a movie that's supposed to be around the 70s, like 75, 76, I think. So a little bit before our era, but I think it's still things that we can relate to as people that when we were in that age period. And yeah, very well shot. Our main actress was absolutely great for she's probably 14 or 15 or something. She's playing a 12 to 13-year-old, so I'm sure she's somewhere in that age range. She did absolutely fantastic. They have a babysitter that's slightly older. She did great, but really the mom and the daughter do really well. The subject matter is great. I didn't know where they were going to go with the mother-daughter relationship, and it was very heartfelt at the end. It was very open, kind of showing you like things are difficult, but still have an open mind and be open to your children because they will take better to it for you being that way. And I didn't get me to tears or anything, but this is a movie that I talked to one of the filmmakers and watched, and I very much liked. There are a lot of these films that like. This is one of these gems, I think. A few of these have been gems where, like, you're watching stuff and you're enjoying the stuff, and then you watch the thing and you're like, you can really connect with how good it is, and the plot and the story and the meaning behind it are all cohesively great. So that was one of them. So, loves Baby Soft. Matka or Polka, that means mother/pole. Meaning it's Matka/Polka, which means mother/pole. Director is Joanne Sukamuska, and the producer is the same person, Joanna Sochamoska. I'm trying, guys. Body Paragraphs. Director is Erika Lobati, and then producers are Athena Shonor, Erika Lobosta, and Sammy Gotskind. And then we have The Girl at the Motor Hotel. I believe this did win an award. I don't think I watched it, however. At least I don't think so. The director is Garrett Garrett D. Trixie, and David. Producer is David Swinburne and Anise Michelina. Yeah. So that's the end of the Identity ones. That was another one that I really wanted to watch because it had some of those coming of age stuff and whatnot. But the next thing we have here is emerging filmmakers. I watched this one, so I'll kind of read them off and let you guys know. The first one was Lemonade. Director was Colette Smunk. And then the producer was Balestard, Jean Damel, and Nicholas Nicholas. Okay. Lermite. So just so you guys know, this the emerging block was all shorts made by people 18 or younger. So this is emerging, as in not like this is the first time they're making their movies. This is just people that are younger, trying to get into filmmaking. They make these films and they submit them, and it's supposed to be an 18 and younger category, and they call it emerging filmmakers. And every single one of these movies was selected by a group of high schoolers. They watched probably 300 and some movies to all get together and select the movies that were selected to be in this category. So just so you guys know a little bit about this, I talked to a lot of the people in this place because there was a reception beforehand to kind of talk to some people, and I did so, and talked to the guy that kind of organized it, and they kind of showcased the people that watched all the movies.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's what this is. So it's not just emerging filmmakers and like people that have just started. It's 18 and younger. Lemonade. It's a pretty simple 5-minute movie. I thought the premise was interesting about your Wall Street dude that listens and reads all the podcasts and knows what to do to be all professional, and professionalism wins stuff, and he tries to outmarket a little girl's lemonade stand by being the listening to the podcast, reading all the Wall Street journals and stuff. But nothing beats being a cute girl on the side of the street, and that's what the movie is. That's the premise in the movie, and it's cute, it's quirky. All in all, the reason why I like the movie is the ending. It shows the humanity of it. It could have gone a different way where they're mean to each other or whatever, but there's a cute ending to it. So all in all, pretty fun. Nothing crazy, but still enjoyable. Next one was Grizz, which had it was the runner-up for the emerging films. This is a 3D animation movie, which is absolutely insane for somebody under the age of 18, a team or whatever. It's directed by Cameron Stanley and Shinaval Lal, and then producer is Heath Grant. It's only 5 minutes, but this is like legit 3D animation. I'm not saying it's like Pixar level or anything, but like legit physics, movement. You don't have like usually with people learning 3D animation and that age group, because as someone that did it, I did 3D animation as a high schooler, and it's very difficult. And a lot of times, before you learn too much, like you would often have like stuff like moving through each other because you're having things interact, and it's just very difficult to have those kind of textures and have those boundaries on stuff. I'm sorry if I'm getting too technical, but I did this kind of stuff, and it's very difficult. And they didn't have any of those issues. Did everyone look absolutely fantastic at Pixar level? Of course not. But the way that things interacted felt really technically sound. And then the story isn't anything. Well, I was going to say it's not anything crazy, but it is actually pretty interesting of a teddy bear fighting off the monsters in your room, which I thought was kind of interesting. And it allowed them to try different things as an animator, which I thought was cool. You're trying to learn and diversify what you can do as an animator, and they found a way to do that and also have kind of an interesting story of a teddy bear fighting off these monsters in your room. So thought that was cool. Voices in Our Heads. It was directed by Brendan Egan and produced by Brendan Egan. This is a little cute date movie about teenagers not like being over, like they just overthink everything on their first dates. And I thought it was cool. But there's not a whole lot to it. So So Dare, that was directed by Joanna Halbert. I'm so sorry. I will never be able to say that name. Halbertskarger. Jasmine Pamir. Producer is Martina Sokor. This is the one that one of the first ones that showed, and they had specifically talked about how it is a 18 and younger, like, people making them, and this is dealing with relationships and a lot of half-naked people, and I thought that the people in the movie, like, were teenagers. And I thought that was really weird, but I later realized that a lot of these people outsourced actors that were much older than themselves. So I am sure they were of age. I was very concerned and thought it was very weird to show underage women in like panties and bras, and that's what we saw, and I was very confused. But nonetheless, there's not a lot about it other than women, or not women, but people wanting to feel like themselves, and they put on an act while they're in public, and then when they're in private, they be who they really want to be, and sometimes they have to do things to cover up who they actually are. So, that's kind of the general theme of it, and interesting theme if you're kind of dealing with that identity crisis stuff. I'm sure you relate with it a lot. Holding Hands with the Moon. This was directed by Soar Blake and produced by Soar Blake. I think I like this one much more than the more I think about it. The moon being a person, I guess maybe isn't extremely unique, but I liked how they specifically did it. there was some stuff that you could definitely tell was from a early mind or whatever, but still enjoyed it. Hollow Home. This was an animated film. It does not have a director or anything, so but it was like a I think a 2D animation movie, and yeah, I liked the theme of a person trying to deal with moving into a new home, and I think it's just like I felt like a commentary on feeling at home where you are. When you move into a new place, maybe even as a child, maybe it feels haunted because it's an unknown place, and then once it becomes your home, it feels less as a haunted place, and that's what I caught from it, and I like that. Mourning as in the morning time, not mourning as in dealing with death or something. Directed by Elena Malicagio and produced by Elena Malicagio. I don't really know much what this was trying to say, unfortunately. So I can't say too much. It was basically a morning routine, which is very common in indie films. And there wasn't much outside of that I remember. So I don't really have too much to say. I'm sorry, Elena, but that was that movie. Butterfly Playground has no director or producer or anything. However, this had all kid actors, like kid actors of like the age of 8 or something. Very short, but a fun little story of losing a friend at a young age and trying to process that as a young mind. It's only 2 minutes, so it's a lot, like kind of understanding what's happening, and then it's over. But still interesting. Family Games. This, I believe. Oh no, never mind. That's the next one. This is directed by Patrick Del Silvia, and producer is Mimi Kambanji. I think the premise here has a chance of being something, which I very much liked. It's a futuristic movie about adoption and how the adoption process works. And all of that, and it's pretty short. They tried to do some Hunger Games-esque stuff, which I think was just kind of difficult to do, but they also did it in a futuristic way. And then I thought the bit at the end was cool. So, Game Plan is the one I was thinking of. They have very similar titles, I think. Sophia Winters was the director, and producer was Sophia Winters as well. This was absolutely hilarious. Everybody cracked up halfway through the movie. Just a great switching up of what the audience is thinking the thing is. You start watching the movie, and it felt kind of stupid, if I'm being honest, because just... they were adult actors, and they were just all like being like, it was supposed to be a business deal, and it just felt really I won't explain anything, or maybe I should. I guess I already said spoilers. So it was supposed to be a business deal, and everything felt awkward and weird and forced acting and stuff, and then it was all purposeful because it was supposed to be a real life showcasing of the game Monopoly. So they're in a room doing a business deal, and then it goes to them on a Monopoly doing the deal, because he opens his briefcase and gives them the 2 blue Broadway and whatever, and it's just a complete switch. You had no idea that's the twist or the turn that they were thinking of in their head, and everybody laughed out loud when that happened. And then they did showed them playing other games very shortly, because that was maybe 5 minutes of it, and then it showed them playing the game of life in the business room, and then playing Sorry or something. So, yeah, just a fun little gimmick bit. That was it was good. Invisible Gun, directed by Reese Roberts and produced by Reese Roberts. Interesting, or I don't know about interesting, but a fun little story of a gangster sell-off trying to convince him that he's selling him an invisible gun. So, The next one, which was the winner. Oh, not the last one. Oh, shoot. There are a lot more. I'm so sorry. Swept Away was the winner of the emerging films contest. Braden Webb is the director and producer. Is Braden Webb and Cillian Varnado. This was by far one of the funniest movies I watched this weekend. I highly recommend going and watching it. I don't want to do the bit for you. Just know that I think it was absolutely hilarious, and everybody in the everyone in the theater or room was absolutely cracking up about a minute in until the very end. So yeah, Gone is a documentary directed by Kyle Ward and produced by Kyle Ward about how the farming in this world is decreasing day by day, and the land is being bought up and sold into different ways, and they feel like their farmland is being taken away, and before too long they won't be able to produce enough food for the world. So good. It's only a couple minutes long. It's just showing one family talk about their experience with the farming world. And it's a small family farming business. So Burning Memories has no director or anything, which really stinks. This is it gave me very heavy The Father vibes. Is that the right with your favorite actor?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Very heartfelt. Very much enjoyed it. I don't remember this one. Oh, yes, I do. Leoplexia. Cool idea. Really like the idea. It's directed by Madeline Case and produced by Grace Reinerson. Yeah, very much enjoyed it. Thought the premise was good. There was, maybe some acting not over the top, but nonetheless, I thought it was a cool idea to come up with a new drug and prescribed drug and talk about its side effects. Solar Flare, directed by Kalia Blevins and produced by Pamela Gavigan. Yeah, I think she was supposed to be there, but she was not. I don't know. It's a female romance movie, so about the end of the world and finally taking that leap when there's nothing holding you back. So, yeah, it's something that's probably been done before, but still not a bad little short for only 9 minutes. Okay, now you guys can stop just hearing me talk to myself. And did anybody do Kansas GeoBlock short films? Canceled. Hey, look.
Oh.
So you already talked.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you already talked about it, right?
I said I didn't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. Well, canceled. Directed by Christopher Girono. Producer is Christopher Girono and Steph Girono.
Yeah, no, it was really good, actually. Dang
so
it!
You didn't remember it.
I'm mad that I didn't remember it. Yeah, it was like about a TikToker who's like being fake and doing stuff for like clout, and people like are calling her out on TikTok, and she's just like trying to live her life, and then she like, and then somebody like has her friend's phone and all that stuff, but it was very well done. It was just her and then the creepy thing, and I think it was very well done, the horror part of it with the ghost or whatever it was coming after her. And
sweet.
Yeah.
Black Beauty.
I saw that one.
Okay, Black Beauty, directed by Ellie Moxley, produced by Ellie Moxley and Lauren Tedham, and then Laura Poloni.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, Ellie Moxley was the main person in it. It's a documentary about how she was a part of the Black Lives Matter movement and how that developed, and her life as an organizer. I think it takes place in Columbus, Ohio, is where the narrative primarily takes place, but she talks about living everywhere and kind of always coming back and always just kind of being in the protest.
Awesome. Next we have Shakespeare for All Ages. Okay. Directed by Hans Rahl and produced by Hans Rahl, or Hannes. Czar Suno del Obsidina. Directed by Fernando Persina dos Santos and Edgar Cali. That was the director, and producers are the same person. I will not butcher your name again. Mirda. Okay. Directed by Brett Allen Smith and produced by La Selva Escostima Cristiu. Yeah, I have no idea what they watched, so that's why I'm turning over to look to them, because I don't know everything that they watched. Intimacy Workshop.
Nope.
Okay. Directed by Eddie Prunoski and Haley Rawson, and Eddie Prunoski are the producers. Finestai. Directed by Kyan Meeks and produced by Kyan Meeks. El Carrito, directed by Zaidia Perini and produced by the same person, and Ron Yan and Mauricio Piratove. Franken Emmett, directed by Carlos F. Putorles, and that was the director. Producer is Jonathan Correa and Brian DeMoss. Lucy.
Oh, hey.
I was about to say, I thought I heard that
yeah.
one before.
I thought it was Lily, but yes, Lucy is
Okay.
right.
Lucy. Director is Emma Sofia Fazuli, and producer was same person, and Donnie Rabari. Executive producer is Ariane Armani and Joe Gastark. You already talked about it, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I do want to say this thing. It's the guy at the beginning. The guy comes out because he ordered Noodle Palace from like down the street or whatever, and he's waiting for Lucy to show up because on his app it says Lucy's around the corner. He goes out and it's one of those new like drone things that is a robot that like drives to your house on the sidewalk. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yeah. So then he's like, what the heck? And it's a baby instead of their food.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's very funny. It's very good.
And then the last one of this segment is Dead Bird Hearts. Directed by Ryan Redcorn, produced by Joseph Braun Thunder, Dylan Brody, and Stephen Hanan. Yes, that's the end of that one. I don't know why I keep on scrolling up when I can just push the back button. Kitchen Sink Shorts. Hey, you guys get to listen to me talk a bunch more. I did not see this first one, so I don't have anything to say. Nigerian Letter, directed by Preston Moss.
I saw that one.
Oh, okay, sweet.
And it was hilarious.
And produced by Christopher Wiley and Christy Lamb.
So I don't know how many people remember this, but people used to get scam emails from Nigerian princes expressing how family members are being held from ransom, blah, blah, blah. This woman gets it in the form of an actual letter, and she actually saves up to like send money to this person. And it's like, oh, if you send me just only $5,000, I'll send you 10 million and I'll offer you my hand in marriage. And so she goes through with it, and it's just a funny little... It's like 5 or 6 minutes, I think, and it's just a funny little skit.
Does she end up getting $10 million and married?
So she hits her mark. She hits the 5,000, and the final shot is just her with this big old grin on her face.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
3 points of suspicion.
Nope.
Anyone? I don't think I. Okay, yeah, I don't think I saw this one. Ralph Jamal is the director, and producer is also Ralph Jamal. We Lie.
Yeah, I saw that.
Perfect. I was about to say I haven't seen any of these, and this is supposed to be the
Yeah.
kitchen sink. But I think also a lot of these they would have been in these segments, and then they liked them enough to put them in front of a feature. So that would be my guess. Nonetheless, we lie. Robin Wong and was the director, and then producer was Noemi Schroff Might, and then Andy Yai Lee.
Yeah.
To you.
Sweet. So this film was made by a USC film student who is from China. And his film got top 3 in the school, so he put it into Tallgrass. But anyway, it's a very, very beautiful story about a Chinese boy who doesn't want to be Chinese anymore because he thinks his parents are too harsh on him, because he gets, spankings and stuff like that when he doesn't do well. And his best friend, who's this fat white kid, gets to, in the other kid's eyes, like, do whatever he wants. He has loving parents. So it's the struggle of a young Chinese boy growing up in America and seeing the different cultures. And he goes to his friend's parents and says, like, I'm putting myself up for adoption. Will you adopt me? And he stays with the family. And it's about him, like, learning to love his family and learning that what his family shows him is love. It just is in a different way, and learning to appreciate your culture. So it was very good, very beautiful.
Gotcha. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The next movie was North Star, which I think is the only movie on this sheet that was actually in the kitchen sink short segment. But it's directed by P.J. Palmer. Cast is so it doesn't have any producers. This is a 30-minute short, so I think this is the longest short I had watched, and maybe outside of the 20th documentary. Well, that might have even been under 30 minutes. But nonetheless, this also had the biggest star I saw this weekend. This has Coleman Domingo, who's Candyman in the new in the new Candyman movie. He also plays in If Beale Streaks Could Talk. And then he is also in Zola. We watched. It's the gangster, not the gangster, but the pimp in Zola. Yeah, so I saw him, and it took me the whole entire movie of like, is that him? Is it not him? Is it him? Is it not him? Is it him? Is it not him? But absolutely, like, wonderfully produced. It looks phenomenal. It sounds phenomenal. The story is not something that necessarily resonates with me personally. It's about a gay couple fighting against their religious family. So that's something that's very counter to me as a religious person, and something that's straight, but it doesn't mean I don't recognize that as something that happens. And I do understand that, and so I understand the importance of the film trying to showcase, like, that some people deal like I don't care if you're like as a religious person, I don't care if you're in the LGBTQ community at all, but there are people that do feel that way, and they are vocal about it, and they will be overly aggressive, and they will only be in your life just to tell you that what you're doing is wrong. And that's kind of what the movie shows, and I definitely got that. As a religious person, I did kind of dislike some of the heavy-handedness of, like, religious people, like, because it made me feel like that's what they think all religious people are. And that's not what all religious people are, because I'm not that way. And so I'm like, but I had to I do have to realize that there are a lot of people that way, and some people that are in those situations, that's all they feel is the negative. They don't see the positive, they see the negative. And so I understand the importance of it. Coleman did a great job. I saw his dick, was not expecting that. So I guess I should say a pretty pivotal part of the movie is his husband. Coleman's husband is something happened, you don't know what, but he's a paraplegic. And so it you don't see sex or anything. It was just they took a bath together, and so you see stuff. But he's doing it out of care because he can't bathe himself. So it was very heartfelt. Again, not necessarily a subject matter that's pertaining to me, but it doesn't mean I didn't realize the significance of it. And I very much saw the high level production, the very well acted by Coleman. But yeah, this is, even though not a movie I specifically resonate with, when people were asking me a movie that was good, when people were asking me a movie that was good, I could definitely point to this one and be like, this was a really good movie, especially if this is something that might resonate with you. You might really enjoy it. So, next movie is Prollyfuck.
It's not that. It's prolific.
Nah, it's Prollyfuck.
I watched it. It's prolific.
It looks like Prollyfuck.
I know
to
it
me.
does.
Okay, but prolific. It is not spelled like prolific. If you were wondering, it's Prollyfyck. So that's why I said it that way. But prolific. Thank you for saying it, because I would have just called it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Directed by Faith Briggs and Tim Kimple, and then produced by also Faith Briggs and then Amy Tiertrault.
Prolific is a community of runners in Richmond, Virginia, who meet every Friday morning at 6:30 for a 4.1 mile run through black communities of Richmond, and they run through Thomas Jefferson's Monticello home, not through the home, but through the property. And they do it in order to open the eyes of the people that are in the community, in the running community, the community that are not black, who have not had exposure to those types of communities before, just a little more rundown, poverty-stricken areas. But they purposefully run through those areas to bring hope to those communities, and also to open the eyes of non-black people in that running community.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, as a runner, I'm sure I'd like it
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, as a former runner,
It was
I'm
good.
sure I'd like it a lot. Ang Motel, directed by John Matthews, produced by Ann Solman and Teresa Solman, and then Neri Solman. So a whole family. I do believe I saw this, so let me try to find it in my notes, because all these are out of the way. Okay, well, some of my notes. Okay, yes. It is the movie I was thinking of. The scenery shots were, I think, by far the best thing of the film. They were absolutely beautiful scenery films. They were trying to convey a message of people not caring for their elderly as well as they should. Like sons not caring for their mothers once they've gotten to a certain age, and it shows somebody else kind of stepping into that role, even though it's just for a day, for that mother to feel welcome. And I definitely got that. I think there were some sound mixing stuff that's just maybe just some issues there that kind of took me out of it a little bit, because of some of the sound just not quite sounding right. But every time we got to a scenery scene and the music with it, I was able to sit with the mood that they were going for, and I think that really helped the film. And then a weird thing, they used this same exact shot 3 times, which I thought was weird. I don't know if it was an accident or if it was purposeful, but like I saw it once and then I saw it again, and I was like, that looked familiar. And then I saw it a third time. I'm like, it didn't look like something that was like, I don't know. It was just a little weird. But yeah, I guess that's about it I could say on that one. But the film director was there and kind of talked about it a little bit. I think it was the director that was there, and heard him talk about the film a little bit. Jokes, directed by Micah Streeter and produced by Micah Streeter. I saw this one. This one was a part of the Kansas shorts, not the
Kitchen sink.
Yeah. He was there. They were there as a filmmaker. This is one that I wasn't a huge fan of the subject material, but because it felt like it was very preachy. So still, I'm glad you submitted it, and glad you liked what you worked on and stuff. It just felt a little bit inconsistent in its delivery and its tone. With it's supposed to be a commentary on how people have racist jokes or sexist jokes, and how those are not good, which that's totally fine. But then it ended with a sexist joke from a woman, as like a good thing. And at least that's what it felt. It could have been she's no better than the guys because she's gonna do. If that's the case, then maybe I'm not giving the movie enough credit, because if that's the case, if it was showing that sometimes women will say that a joke is sexist, and then they'll go around and make a joke that's just as sexist towards the males, and like that's so maybe I just took it totally wrong. If that's what the point was, I totally agree with it and think that that's good to be consistent. But overall, yeah, there was like I said, I think there was a good scene in between those two parts that I did enjoy, showcasing how men can be very dismissive to how women feel in relationships, and I thought that was showcased well. So I did like that. It's not like I disliked everything, or maybe I did. Maybe I liked it a lot more than I thought. I just was thinking of it from a different angle. So, but whatever your intentions were, I still think that was a good scene, and I think that showcased the better part of your filmmaking too, because it looked a lot better and sounded a lot better too. Nice. And that may have just been because the first scene was in a restaurant, and that can be very hard to shoot that and have everything sound great because you're in an open space. And I don't know if any of you guys have recorded in open spaces, but it's very hard not to get a crisp sound from it. So yeah. Ha Ha is the next movie on there. Alberto Acosta, produced by Ryan Acosta, Tyler Thompson, and then Alejandro Huthart.
Yes, I saw that one.
Sweet.
It
looks good.
It was okay.
Okay.
I mean, it was funny. It's based off a true experience. The director talked about it a little bit.
Gotcha.
He overheard his mother talking about how she doesn't particularly care for his laugh, and so he created it. And it was just, if you talk about people, happens to everybody. And so the film is about he's dating this woman who expresses to him that she doesn't particularly care for his laugh. But then he takes it very seriously, and they end up meeting for coffee. And what was cool about it was that she spoke only Spanish and he spoke English, so he was bilingual. And it was kind of cool. But then the end, I guess we're doing spoilers. The end of it is the waitress. You haven't heard him laugh this entire time, and
that's actually
the waitress spills a drink on the woman, and he burst out laughing. And I guess to me, I was like, okay, so is it the laugh or are you just rude? Because and so Anyway, it was fine though.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think it was probably good that they held off the laugh.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Down We Go, directed by Ryan Elsto. Assault. I'm so sorry. And then Maddie Nadorft is the producer.
Saw this one too.
Sweet.
Actually, those two were back to back.
Sweet.
Yeah, that one is it's about a friend from high school, or a couple friends from high school. They were best friends. One of them moves away to Colorado, and the other one stays in Maine, I think. And it's just about how they grow apart, and you come to find out that the character from Maine has cancer, and that's what he has come to talk to the guy about. And they have this and the guy is like, couldn't care less that his friend's there, is doing whatever. They take him on like the hardest, they're skiing. They take him on to the hardest mountain, and they're just not paying any attention to him. But they have a heartfelt moment at the top of the mountain. Come to find out he has cancer. And the guy makes a joke, and he says something like, "Man, I'm sorry that your kidneys suck," or something like that. And then the other guy with cancer says, "Yeah, it must be nice to have two fully working kidneys." He goes, "Yeah, it is pretty nice." And he goes, "By the way, that leads me to the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about." And then the movie ends.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was good.
Now it's the Let's Get Weird shorts. which I don't think any of us were a part of. So
think so.
I will just name these movies and read off the directors and the people that were a part of the film.
Plus, they happened to play during features, I guess.
Yeah, there might have been a few. Julian, director is Vivian Keir, and then producer was Sophia Drake and Vivian Keir, and then Rachel Stanter. Bunny, which was directed by Corey Clifford and Ryan Legod, and then produced by Jack Bishop and Justin Nim. Milkshake, directed by Jacob Shelton, and then produced by Jacob Shelton. Out of This World, directed by Elia. The most basic names I just can't say. Elia Pedritz. I butchered that. Chris Wayne and Merle Lakessi were producers. Twitching. Madeline. Boom. Easy name. Madeline Moore, and then producer is Madeline Moore as well. Human. Bill Watterson, and then producer is Bill Watterson, and then also SCV Taylor.
I think I saw Human.
Human?
I think so. What's the synopsis?
After discovering footage from a fantasy world he made a child, filmmaker Bill Watterson set out to restore this project, childhood dreams of Gander, a lost classic.
I did see that. That's very funny.
Oh, great.
Yes, that was, yeah.
I'm sure if that's the only thing you say, he'll love the fact that it was just very funny.
It was very funny. Yeah, he finds a VHS tape, and it is clear that the tape he is using to record his documentary of recovering this tape is the tape that he recorded his childhood film on. So it will intersperse in between.
Gotcha.
And yeah, it's quite good. If you get a chance to check it out, you should.
Sweet. Dog Lover, director Anne Sophie Bine, and then producers Anne Sophie Bine, and then Tara Austin. That is the end of the Let's Get Weird. You guys both watched this. This is the music and dance. So you guys can both say some short thoughts on these ones. Call It What You Will. Director Dan Warden, and then producer Dan Warden.
Tristan liked this one more than me.
I liked it a lot, actually. It was 2D
Animation.
animation.
Yep.
Tristan's trying to make
I'm
sure
just
she's
making
saying the
sure.
right thing.
Yep. It's
It
folk
was
music.
Yeah, folk, which is probably why I liked it a lot.
I've really started to like folk music.
Yeah.
So maybe I like it too.
Oh,
I'm
no.
really into it. I think you would like it, Easton. It's basically about heartbreak.
It's a music video, yeah.
And
3 minutes? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's he's like reminiscing through like a mirror and a photograph, and
And his cell phone background.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they move along with him, and I liked it a lot.
Yep.
Next one.
That is. Did you want to say anything about it? Okay. Mama, I'm Through. That is directed by Emma Morgan Bennett, and then produced by Emma Morgan Bennett, and then also Stephanie, I think. Eugenex.
So this one was a little out there.
Okay.
It didn't quite fit. It was about a young black woman who's going to college, and she is having a Zoom conference with her mom about whether or not she should have children in the current political climate and things like that. So she interviews her 3 friends on their ideas about that and how they feel about that, about having children. What the weird part is, I don't know how long it is. It felt like maybe 12 to 15 minutes. There's maybe 45 seconds of actual dancing in this, and music is not really a part of
Yeah,
it.
it's like modern dance between the
Scenes.
commentary.
Yeah. But you never, I mean, it's the main character, the person who directed it. She's the dancer, but doesn't talk about her dancing, doesn't talk about how that's impacted her at all. It's primarily about having children.
Which I really liked the dance. I just didn't love it being interspersed between everything.
And I think the reason I feel so strange about it is just because it it was it was just such a left turn. Like everything else had been so dance and music the whole time, and then all of a sudden there wasn't any.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, had this maybe been in a different block, maybe it would have been a little more impactful.
Yeah. I did like, because Easton and I have had this conversation before of bringing children into the current climate of the world.
Yeah.
And there were some things that I wrote down that I'm just going to say that they said that I think pertains to not only Black mothers, but just
People.
millennials, I would say. Like
Anybody in our age group that's wanting to have kids in this area.
Yeah. They said bringing Black lives to life is a form of resistance, which I was like, whoa, that's really intense. And then they said, trust the love of your family. That was when she asked her mom, like, why did you choose to bring kids? And she said, you just have to trust the love that you have. And then another line was, my family is the source of all that is good. So again, talking about the same thing of like, do you bring kids into the world? Do you not? And her mom was like, well, my family is good. Like my family is what brings me joy, and I experience love through them. So of course, like, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's all.
Sweet. Yeah, now I'm kind of interested. That's a 20-minute documentary.
Yeah,
Or
20 minutes. Yeah, and like I said, maybe 45 to 50 seconds of dancing.
So if it was 45 seconds of dancing in a 6-minute documentary, it would have made a little bit more sense if it was in the segment. But they may have also just really wanted it to be in the segment and didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
In the festival and didn't know where to put it.
Yeah.
Okay. Incursion. I think that's correct.
That one was good. I don't know if you saw that one, Tristan.
Yeah, I don't.
It's directed by John Isaac, and then also produced by John Isaac and George Stephen Forey.
So this one is about a dancer who goes to a studio, and she tries to do a move and she fails. She doesn't keep her balance, and she's very visibly upset by it. She goes to the bathroom, and it looked to me like when she was in the mirror that she was either reflecting upon herself, like, why are you so upset with yourself? Or she was just experiencing two different emotions simultaneously. But then she walks back to the dance floor, and you find that her body is on the ground. And she picks it up and she carries it off into a closet. And then she comes back out and she does the routine correctly. But it was a little meta. It was a little not super literal, but it was entirely dancing, which was
Fits
nice.
the segment.
Yeah. And I can tell you, Tristan was in. We can may do some of the ones that I was only there for.
The Muse, We Dance.
She wasn't there for the Muse.
Okay, so The Muse, directed by Julian Lee White, and then produced by Marcelo Barjas.
I'm glad it was as short as it was, because I didn't find the subject matter particularly interesting. I found it a little samey or like overdone. It's an artist who this woman appears, who is the Muse. This woman appears in his apartment, and she tells him to take his hand and take her hand, and he refuses, and she chases him down the hallway, and they end up dancing together down the hallway. It's this kind of like elegant resistance kind of thing. And then you find out that the Muse is apparently the embodiment of someone who is dear to him, because the painting he is making at the end of it paints a bleak picture of her. You didn't see the Muse, did you? Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that one was Florida State University's media department, I think. So it was the production value was high. I just didn't find the subject matter all that compelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll definitely happen when you're watching these.
Mm-hmm.
When you're watching a crap ton of movies, there are definitely going to be things that just don't quite hit, and that's totally fine. There are going to be a ton of people that do that it does hit with. So, We Dance Director was Brian Foster and Ethan Payne.
You,
and then,
Tristan, need to watch this on your own. We Dance is incredible.
okay.
It's-
Producer was Tina Witterman, and then Davis and Thaddeus Davis. So yeah, fantastic
it's
your first
incredible. It's 3 acts and
3 acts in 12 minutes.
Mhm.
That's a feat.
I wrote them down. They're spin, rise, and something else. Sorry. Okay, I'll see. But spin, rise, and something. Maybe together or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But it follows the story of a married couple and how they grew up. One of them grew up growing up in the South and one of them growing up in Chicago. And then how their lives intertwine together between food, dance, and music.
Sweet.
Yeah.
The End of the Squirrel was the next
That
one.
one was really funny.
It doesn't have a director or producer, so you guys can just talk about it. We're not going to...
It is that was the last one in the set. It is about 2 people in the zombie apocalypse, and they've been hiding out in a barn for I think they say a week or 2, and they're out. She's down to 2 bullets. They don't have any more food, and the zombies are closing in. And she says, "Do you have any music for us for the end of the end here?" And he goes, "Yeah, I have something." He sits down at the piano. He writes a song that he composed called "The End of the Squirrel." And it's a montage of their time together in the barn.
Sounds sad as fuck.
It is sad, but
But it's
the
also funny.
lyrics are funny.
Gotcha.
And you don't know. I mean, it's kind of a question if they survive at the end.
Gotcha.
The fight begins and then it fades to black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
The hell, Tristan? Make Me a King, directed by Sophia Olens and then produced by Martina Russo.
I don't know that one was in there.
It, like I said, they could have
In
been
the
before a
shorts.
movie.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of
No,
these,
it's-
some of them were taken out of the whatever, and I think some places were put in whatever.
Yeah.
So whatever. Heart Failure.
That one's also incredible.
Okay.
Yeah.
No
it's-
producer or director credited.
It's
So-
on YouTube.
Perfect.
Yeah, if people want to look it up, just look up Heart Failure short film. It's about 10 minutes long, and it's very, very relatable and very good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Next, we have
That- I have a lot more that we saw.
I know. Yeah.
they might show
Okay.
up later. They so far they have been.
No, they haven't.
Okay, we'll go ahead and say the stuff on the notes that you have. I guess I haven't been doing that on the few that I watched. I haven't been going through and telling stuff. But anyways, go ahead.
F him right back.
Oh, sorry. It's Spin, Rise, and Hold. I just opened
Open
it
up
page.
right to it.
Yeah. Yeah, F 'em Right Back that won an award, and it was
Yeah.
very good.
It was very good. Very well acted.
Also,
well done. I like
just-
the colors in it.
Yes.
Funny.
Yes, absolutely. And
Easton, you might like it.
I don't know if people I don't know if the same law is the same in Kansas, but if you tell your manager you have a drug problem, they can't random test you. So, anybody that needs to know that information, we learned that through this.
Yeah. The Elvis of
Laos.
Laos.
I didn't think
Yeah.
that one was. I mean, very good job, filmmakers. But as far as like subject matter, it was a miss for me.
Yeah. I mean, there was a little girl in it who
She was cute.
reminded me of Marcel the Shell.
Yes.
She had the same kind of voice. A big problem with this one and a lot of the other movies was that I'm just such a slow reader. The words went by way too fast for me, and
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I also
Keep
find
up.
I have a harder time keeping up with subtitles on big screens. Like if it's a small screen, I can my eyes can see it all, but
Yeah.
I feel like I either have to watch the lower half or the upper half when I'm watching on a big screen.
My problem is I can, if I know that I need to read fast, I can, but if I stumble, if there's a name that I'm not familiar with, or if there's a word that that I don't often use in my vocabulary, if I stutter on that word at all in my reading, I'm not going to finish what it says. And that was a big problem for me in this movie.
Yeah.
I have that problem sometimes too.
Yeah,
If
it
you
was
stumble-
happening so much.
If
to
you
me,
stumble
though.
halfway through it, like it's
I'm like, I'm done for.
Sometimes movies legitimately give you time,
Yeah,
but if there's a lot of dialogue, they can't.
yeah.
So.
This one also had really good graphics. The animation that it used, I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I have is Bo.
I thought it was. So I have an unfair bias on it because I know that world. It's about a violinist who's auditioning, and she's going deaf, or she is deaf.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to refrain from this one. So, yeah.
The main girl in it did not speak the whole time. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's correct.
I don't think she did.
Yeah. She didn't speak the whole time, and there were some movies that did really, really well in that. Like they played it off really well. Like the next one I'm going to say, I think did a really good job of it. But this one, it was almost like it just didn't hit very well for me. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I wish that she would have talked in it. But the mom working really hard and saving
The
up.
mom was
and
that was a high point. I
yeah,
did enjoy the mom.
I liked the mom a lot. And then the last one I have in this one is Songway. Songway with the boy in the propane tank.
The tank fairy. That's what it is. That was funny. Yes, and it was a good dance one.
Yeah.
So is it Korea? Is that where it was?
I think so.
And it's an Asian country. Not sure. There's a person you call if your propane goes out, and so they made her this like very whimsical, very like I don't even know how to describe it, but
Yeah.
she was very funny. And then this young boy sees her and becomes infatuated with her and wants to be like her.
Yeah.
And
The mom is against it.
yeah, resisting. And
Yeah.
it's kind of just about being who you are and kind of finding yourself. And
But
it
it's
was cute.
fun.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
very
like
fun. And
Yeah.
it's a foreign version of surely it's not Holding Out for a Hero. It's an 80s tune.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Holding Out for a
Yeah.
Hero? I just thought that was funny because Bullet Train just did that. They also did Holding Out for a
yeah.
Hero, but they did a Japanese version.
Yeah, you're right. I think it is that song.
Yeah.
Um,
Something Bonnie Tyler.
that movie, very, very little words were spoken.
Yes,
At
and
all.
it was great.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think they did a really, really good job. I wasn't like waiting for them to say something. It just was what it was.
I think that one, it was in the same vein of F 'em Right Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Sweet. I'm gonna wait to do my short ones that I may have missed. I'm gonna see if they pop up
Okay.
when we do our shorts. If they weren't said, I can go back through and
Sure.
Yeah.
talk about them. We did music and dance. This is Relationship.
I don't think I saw that.
You were supposed to, but I think something else popped up.
Yeah, she had to leave for that thing.
Yes, birthday party.
Oh.
You went to the
yeah.
birthday party instead of
Sorry.
this. So you were dealing with real relationships instead of
Yes.
so anybody know this plant name?
Marigold.
The Marigold Listen,
Mm-hmm.
directed by Jacob Figueroa, and then produced by Jacob Figueroa and Brian Bebel. Anniversary, directed by Leon Kinzel, and then produced by Emily McCann Lesser, and then Stefan Rausch. Wild Card, directed by Tipper Newton, and then produced by Mary Kate Van Daneberg. The Man of My Dreams, directed by Orson Scott Barnes, produced by Emily Beckerman and Ben Silbert. Ami, directed by Adam Labostes Lockard, and then produced by Adam Laboust Lockard. I did not watch this movie, but I did do an interview with the filmmaker, so the
nice.
director and producer of this film. So you guys can see that on our YouTube, or go listen to the interviews of the filmmakers. I will be watching it. Omi means, I think, grandfather or grandparent.
I don't know.
Which made
Wait.
a little bit more sense.
O-N-I?
Omi.
Oh, O-M-I?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
I know someone who called their grandma Oma, so maybe Omi means father,
Yeah.
grandfather.
Yeah, I believe it was grandfather, but it's
Yeah.
it's a film. It's a Jewish film about. It was almost like he said he filmed it during the pandemic. It was just him and a partner of his, and I think his grandma's voice or something like that. But it seemed interesting. It was almost like a horror relationship, like his dead grandma's spirit possesses his girlfriend
Ew.
or something like that.
What?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is an out there premise. Like that's not that's a little bit out there and interesting. Like I haven't seen it yet because I talked to him yesterday and I was up until 4:00 this morning. And I was not able to watch any other movies, so I didn't get to watch his yet, but I will. So yeah, that's Omi. Ramen, directed by Nathan Martin and produced by Nathan Martin. And then How Not to Date While Trans, director Nelia Moon. Yeah, nobody watched that one, right?
No.
Right.
Okay. You laughed, so I didn't know if maybe you had watched it and thought it was funny. So, Small Grass short film program.
My heart.
Oh, did you watch this one?
I did.
Okay,
I got through about half of them because I had to go see Little Satchmo, but yeah, this one was the one that the one that tore me up.
Okay. Well, you still have virtual passes, so you can watch the rest of
I
these
know.
if you want.
So Small Grass, real quick. It's called that because everything in this is kid relevant. Either
Oh, you told us that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's either ideas for movies that kids had, or kids were involved in the creative process, or kids acted in it. Here we go.
Okay. Deep Fears, directed by Ryan Chu and produced by Ryan Chu.
It's about an otter who's afraid of the ocean until his pendant, that his little oyster necklace that his mother bought him or got him, who is implied that she is gone, drops into the ocean. He goes in to get it and begins to fall to the depths, and a seal or a little manatee comes and teaches him how to swim and teaches him to hold his breath and go underwater, and then they get all the muscles and then they get to share him together. And at the beginning he draws in the sand, he draws a figure of him and his mom, and then at the end it's a figure of him and the seal. It's very cute.
Awesome.
Yep.
Homebird, directed by Iwa Smike.
Homebird was interesting. It's about a woman from Eastern Europe who travels to a city. It's not said where, but she brings a chicken. The chicken is the homebird, and she wants to be some kind of designer. As a designer, it looks like she always wants to like advertising. Goes to this office, and the best part of it is she goes to the office, she makes a noise, and everybody kind of looks over her, and she's gone, and then she comes out from behind the plant, but she's small because it's showing how small she felt in that moment. I thought that was really clever. But yeah, it was cute. And both this one and the last one were both animated.
Awesome. The Devil We Run.
That one was really funny. A small boy finds a hole in his backyard, which he automatically assumes is a gateway into hell and that the devil lives down there. His older brother convinces him otherwise, but there's a touching moment between him and his dad. His dad lays him down for bed and they pray before he goes to sleep. And he says something like, "How do you outrun the devil?" And the dad says something along the lines of like, "That's a struggle that we all have to take, or that we all have to do," and things like that. It's very touching. But he has a friend in his next door neighbor. They have a window in the fence, and he goes, "I have to show you something." And she shows her the hole, and she goes, well, obviously that's where the devil lives. And she throws him a shovel over the top of it, over the fence, and he starts to fill it back in, and the end is him just screaming like primally, and his it freaks his older brother out, and it's really funny.
I see the scream right there on the.
Oh yeah.
My Summer Vacation, directed by Kelly O'Sullivan. I feel like that's the second O'Sullivan.
This one was a metaphor for climate change.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you finish reading the things?
No. Producer is also Elevated Film Chicago, Eddie and Susie Linker, Shane Simpson, and then Pierce Caverns.
This also had the best child acting I had ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
The best. And I was talking with Andre at the end, who agreed. It was the best. Young girl has her summer vacation in Italy, and she visits Pompeii. And she began using the rest of the class. She began showing how that all happened. And then she sits down at the end and she looks out the window, and you see that San Francisco is on fire and that the ground is shaking, which were the things about Pompeii. And she says it wasn't an automatic disaster. Like, it didn't just happen. Like, there were warning signs, and people that were too poor couldn't leave and things like that. And so it was really beautifully done, I thought. Yeah.
Hermit or Hermie, directed by Jonathan Becker and Anthony Pitsolis.
This might be out of order. I don't remember that one. Wait, what's it about?
These are all out of order.
Okay.
The producer was also Anthony Pitsolis. An ocean scientist encounters his childhood hermit crab friend. Okay.
Did see one.
Cloud Boy: An Autistic Journey.
I did not see that one.
Directed by Kieran Firth Bernard and also produced by the same person. I feel like Tristan will probably watch that.
Of course I will.
Dance or Drive, directed by Stefan Snow and also produced by Stefan Snow.
I did not see that one either.
Okay, no problem.
Although is there more?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turning the World, directed by Enrique Garcia, and then produced by Enrique Garcia, and then also Ginny Goddard Garcia, and then Guillermo Acevedo. Butchered that. Persimmon Branch is the last one, directed by Haley White and produced by Haley White.
No, but I do have ones that were not on that list that I played.
Go for it.
So there's only two, and they both were the ones that messed me up the most.
Oh. Maybe they might have been in front of us something else then.
Yeah, maybe.
If they were that emotionally impactful.
Yes.
Gotta get you crying before you watch a feature.
Both animated. The first one I believe is called Flycore. It wasn't. I didn't catch a title card. That one is about a dragon who becomes a postal worker in this land of animals. And it's a metaphor for racism. He just wants to help and deliver mail, and he tries to deliver mail to this owl or vulture, I think. And the vulture every time just slams the door in his face, doesn't want to see him, doesn't want to talk to him. And the dragon thinks it's him. So the dragon shaves down his horns and files down his claws and wears a mask so he covers up his fangs and things like that. And eventually the dragon is breaking down in the bathroom, and his manager, who's the owl, comes in, and they go together. And the vulture is obviously disgusted that the dragon has shown up again, but then he greets the owl with this smile and this very, very welcome greeting, and the owl hands him a do not deliver mail list card, and it was very touching. The other one is called The Perfect Fit, which I heavily identified with. That's the one that broke the camel's back. It's about a kid in an orphanage who goes to the zoo, and he goes around to all the animals telling them hello, and none of them are responding until he gets to the birds, and there is a bird that responds back with hello, and he's very much bullied. He gets anyway, so all the kids in the orphanage end up in his brain turning into these animals, and then one by one people come to adopt these kids. And so the person who looks like the draft in his imagination gets picked up by people. Like the woman has her hair like done up like antlers on a giraffe and things like that. And yeah, it was that just some heavy bullying stuff in it, and yeah, it was good.
Okay.
And then I went and cried in my car for 5 minutes after that.
Was that the end of
That was
the?
it.
Okay.
Yep.
Next we have the Kansas Short Films Program. Vegan Apocalypse. I feel absolutely terrible because director Patrick Poe and Lo Loren both directed and produced this, and I am semi-friends with them. I've talked to them multiple times. And apparently that was the first film that was shown during this, and I walked in like 10 minutes late or something.
Oh, no.
And it wasn't in there. And I will probably reach out to them to watch it virtually if I can, because I can't wait to watch it because it won an award this weekend. So they won an award for Vegan
Nice.
Apocalypse. So
Congratulations.
congratulations to both Patrick Poe and Lolo Loren. But unfortunately, I can't say anything about it. But I'm sure it was absolutely fantastic. It sounds like a great premise. Searching for La Yarda, directed by Lorlo Engel and Lourdes Calsa Aguirre. Both directed and produced by them. I don't know. I thought there was good information told here.
Mm-hmm.
It's about second generational immigrants, specifically Spanish, I believe Central America or Mexico, immigrants in Lawrence.
Okay.
And there was a lot of information I didn't know. I do think it was very heavy-handed with its whites were racist, which is understandable because of the time period and such. I do think it got a little diluted with... and there's multiple films that were shown where it doesn't do a great job of differentiating between when they're talking about the 70s and that racism versus what we deal with today. It is different and
Gotcha.
it is better. To say that they're the same is to lie about how bad it was back then, and I don't think it's. I think sometimes they muddy. Like, because they're just talking about the past, but then they act like it's still present, and that's not the case.
Gotcha.
Because there was stuff that I didn't know about. In Lawrence, there were specifically, I remember there was a story about the pools, where immigrants were not allowed to use pools in Lawrence, public pools, and how they had to go swim in the lakes, or sorry, the rivers, which were not necessarily safe because they're lakes or they're rivers, so it's flowing water, and it's there's banks that can fall in and all that kind of stuff. And somebody talked about a close call that they had while swimming in that river. And so like there was obviously some information that I didn't know about. They also talked about a flood that happened in Lawrence that greatly hurt more immigrants than it did the white people in that town, which again is stuff that like that was really good information. There were just times where like they were talking about the racism and it acted like they were talking like it was just as much of like it wasn't differentiating between the 70s and now. And like I know that there are still racist people in the world. There will never not be racist people in the world, but we have made progress, and to act like we haven't made progress, I think is a problem, because it's showcasing that we haven't made progress, that we haven't done better than what we were in the past, and we should continue to do better. However, to not acknowledge that we are doing better, I think is a problem. And there were a couple movies that I saw that didn't toe that line well. Yeah. And you can even say that it's not perfect yet, but to not say anything and to say that it hasn't progressed, I think is kind of a problem. Yeah. So, but overall, I think there was a lot of information I didn't know. It's a 15-ish minute short about families in Lawrence. And yeah, I Still very much enjoyed it. The Den this one was a narrative film directed by Jessica Queel Simerman.
Okay.
And produced by Jamie Thalman and Eden Perry. Sorry, guys. And Eden Perry.
Mm-hmm.
It was well acted. I think one of the main characters is somebody that's fairly famous. But nonetheless, it was a movie about a theater actor trying to make their way, and I didn't know if they were trying to portray the fact that the director was physically assaulting her or if pushing her, and she liked it. Like if she was okay with like the way that he was pushing her as an actress.
Yeah.
And so I just felt like it didn't quite do the I don't know, it didn't quite show me enough if that was supposed to be the good thing or the bad thing, because it felt like the bad thing. It felt like he was an asshole director that was specifically going on stage and directing her just to make out and touch her. And that's the vibe I got, but then she continued to press in and be like, no, I want you to do this.
Yeah.
So like it felt weird. So I didn't quite get the tone, and then it really switches to the psychological horror at the end, and I liked that much more than I liked the I don't know whether or not this is supposed to be a predatorial director or not.
Mm-hmm.
So there were just some things there. There was some good stuff. I do like the twist horror at the end, but I just don't think it. I didn't quite get the whether or not he was supposed to be predatorial or not, and it felt like it, but then it was taking away at the same time. So,
gotcha.
Something to Fear is a documentary short that we saw at Doc Sunback. So I've already kind of talked about it, but this is by Brett Jones, directed by Brett Jones, and produced by Brett Jones, about a Derby basketball player that made it to college and her struggles as a basketball player. I think I have some notes. I thought I had something that I wanted to say about this, but I don't see. Wow. Oh, I kind of feel that the movie is very much about her struggles of being a female basketball player and such, and I think it's just. I think something that kind of gets skewed is the fact that athletes are just insecure in general, and it's supposed to be specifically talking about female women in that issue, but I think it's just all athletes are insecure about their ability, insecure about the way that they look and the way that they have to put their passion into it, and I don't think it showed that well enough.
Gotcha.
It was very specific on, oh, well, she's a female and she's tall, and everybody asked how tall they are. It was like, I was a male and I was skinny as hell because I was a cross country runner, and I was constantly talked about how skinny I was, how blah blah. I needed to eat more, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm doing like this is my profession. I am a runner. I have to be thin.
Yeah,
that's what I have to be, and I would still get all those comments, and I don't take it as a rate or a sex thing at all. I just took it as I'm an athlete, and people just don't understand what it means to be a legitimate athlete.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of missed the mark on that. But I think it's still a really cool story for Kansas people because she's from Derby and made it to Oregon State. So
there you go.
Trevor has to go here in a second, so I might.
I still have. I don't have to go until 4.
Okay.
That's when I need to. Like,
so we'll finish up this Kansas shorts, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll pick back up. I knew this was going to be a long podcast because we're talking about 220 films, but so the next one on here was "It's Okay to Not Be Okay." I had not seen this one yet. It's directed by Andrew White and produced by Andrew White and George Mulinix. I did very much enjoy this. It's about Iron Man stuff, so not Iron Man as in the Iron Man competitions.
Yeah, the weightlifting.
And somebody that
the name on here is Josh Wolf.
Yes, I know.
That's so funny.
It's just there's no E.
That's our cousin.
There's no E at the end of Wolf though.
Our cousin's name.
Doesn't he have an E at the end? I definitely thought the same exact thing. I was like, oh, is this gonna be a story about? No, I was like, oh no, there's no E at the end. So
I knew it wasn't gonna be about him, but it's just funny.
Yeah. But yeah, just interesting story about somebody going through the thoughts of suicide and then feeling like they have a passion in sports and then that kind of being ripped away at some point. So I've had a little bit of a resonance to it or a personal connection with it. So Good Night, Mr. Van Gogh. Good Night, Mr. Vincent Van Gogh, directed by Lindsay Doolittle and produced by her. We talked about this about Doug Sumback. She's done a couple different projects, and all of them have been absolutely fantastic. This is an animated version of a story where her niece...
We saw this at
Doug Sumback,
okay.
yeah. Absolutely beautiful film. Discussing suicide with someone younger, how difficult that conversation can be because they don't understand what depression is, they don't understand what suicide is, they don't understand any of that. It's a great story with great animation. It's animated by her narrated by her niece. I found out through the Q&As, and yeah, the second time seeing it, I loved it just as much as I saw it the first time. It's a absolutely great film about discussing what it means to talk to a child about what happened to a family member that's not a normal, like, cancer, accident, whatever, or old age. It's different, and it's hard to discuss what that is. And so good film by her. Next one was Grand Nationals, the 74 Fire, directed by Patrick Mazur and Bobby Abermite, and also produced by those two. This is a Blue Barn production, so kind of fans of theirs. They kind of work with our uncle, kind of.
Yeah,
not.
they have before.
Yeah. This is a documentary about Hutch State Fair and the dirt races that perform there. This is a longer document. Oh, it's only 12 minutes. It felt like a lot longer than that. Maybe it's because I'm not into the state fair, but still very well produced. A lot of great stories. I didn't know anything about how prestigious that race is on the dirt circuit because it's a dirt. Although they were really repetitive on, they were like, what did they say 25 times? They said they talked about the concrete wall like at least 12 times. And I'm like, I get it. There's a concrete wall that makes it different than other races, but like, can we get past the concrete wall? Like, I'm sure there are other great things about this thing. Like every single interview, or the same guy interviewing, like every single time you talk about the concrete wall, then another guy would talk about how it's like just as prestigious and as good as the Indy 500 or whatever. And I'm like,
wow.
But he'd say that over and over and over and over. He's like, it's the Indy 500 of dirt races. And I'm like, okay, that's really cool. And then 2 minutes later, it's the Indy 500 of dirt races. 2 minutes later, it's the Indy 500. I'm like, okay, I get it. You think that this is a very prestigious race. Yeah. It seems like it. It seems like people from all over that do these dirt races are really good. Or like they come to this one for a reason, like because it's a great race. I totally get it. But you don't need to say it 35 times. And then it talks about the fire that happened in 74, how miraculously nobody died in an absolutely terrible crash that had a like 40, 50-foot explosion in the middle of the track.
Wow. Multiple
cars pile up all on fire, and nobody, somehow, miraculously, nobody died. There's a famous picture called the leap of survival. I don't know. There's an actual name for it. I can't remember. But a picture of somebody jumping out of a car, and if he did not make that jump, he would have burned alive in the car. Yeah. Because back in 74, they didn't have fireproof suits or anything. And that specific crash is what made them force fireproof suits. Yeah. They said there were people on there that have been racing for 50 years or whatever, and they said they used to go do these races in tank tops and shorts. And that was normal. Yeah. And then after that crash and seeing it live and everything, everybody had to be in fireproof suits, and everybody was okay with it. Yeah. Like before, there was already like a introduction to trying to do it, and everyone was like, no, I don't want to spend $500 on a suit. Yeah. And then after that wreck, everyone was like, nope, 100%. Everybody needs to have it. Yeah. Keep everyone safe. And apparently there was a problem with the firefighters at the time. Yeah. So they weren't actually on location. And usually in those kind of events, you have a fire you have a fire truck on location. They weren't because of something else, and so like it wasn't immediately taken care of. So,
Yeah.
The Cycle, directed by Olivia Herman, produced by the University of Kansas. Filmmaker was there. It was kind of it tried to be a time loop film, and I don't think it quite hit the mark. There were obviously some good stuff with some horror aspects, with some creepy vibes. I think some shots were done well, but I think the overall story didn't quite land as much as I think they had hoped it would.
Yeah.
Shaky Hands. This is directed by Caitlin Cody and produced by Caitlin Cody. So another one by Caitlin Cody. This was very abstract. Story about loss. I don't know if it 1,000% hit with me, but I think they still got some of the ideas and feelings that they were trying to portray through. There was a major dialogue scene between a mother and the son, and it was very off-putting. I think it was purposely off-putting, but it was hard to watch off-putting.
Yeah.
Especially with the subject material before and after. So maybe that was the purpose, to be a little irritated at the moment. But still some enjoyable stuff there. As the Crow Flies, Sophia Baldwin is the director and producer, along with Alan Moe. I talked to the director and watched this one myself. Absolutely loved it. It's a great premise. The person is a huge fan of Nacho Libre, and that was the inspiration behind it.
I love that.
So I implore both of you to watch it, since you guys are both huge Nacho Libre fans. Really good bit. The actors were great. Just really funny. It's pretty short and sweet. I guess it's 15 minutes, so a little bit longer for a short. But they use the full for some. It starts as a bit and to be funny, and then it kind of ends with some serious stuff. I don't know if 100% of the serious stuff was fully drawn out enough. I just don't think it had enough time, I think, to fully portray the depth of what they were trying to go for, because they had to kind of say it when they were trying to show it. And I think I don't know if they ran out of time or whatever, but also the whole entire movie, not the whole movie, a big portion of the movie was shot inside of a McDonald's, which I talked to her about how she was able to do that. And she said that it almost didn't happen. And she was like, the whole entire premise of the movie is centered around being in a drive-thru, and she almost didn't have a drive-thru to do it with. And she was like, it would have been awful, because it would have just been a fake set drive-through, and it wouldn't have communicated. It wouldn't have looked real.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
very glad that she was able to, because the whole theater was laughing out loud on this one. There were two movies that I had a whole theater laughing out loud. This was one, and the other one was the one about the broom and the Swept Away. Swept Away.
Yeah.
Scream I didn't watch, but that is directed by J.S. Hampton and produced by J.S. Hampton. Death by Koji, Julian Libby, and produced by Julia Libby. That was at Doc Sumback. I did not watch this one here. Really good film, showing somebody's life and their transition, and how their art progressed throughout their life and being accepted as a person. In the Walking Dust, directed by Jordan Horsch, and then produced by Jordan Horsch as well. And I did not see that one either. Maybe, actually. Yes, I did. It's in 3 parts. Yes, I did watch this one. It's in 3 parts. Very obscure, and you don't quite know what's going on. They kept on saying there ain't no something out there. They said in like 3 different ways. So I just said ain't no nothing was my note, because they used to say like there ain't no bus, there ain't no like something. I remember the bus, but there ain't no something out there. Anyways, I didn't really get what they were trying to communicate, but maybe I just missed it. But some at least good set designs and a decent main actor, or actress.
Good.
My bad. Okay, we're gonna have to take a break because we have a lot of stuff that we're reviewing and it's taking a very long time. But we're almost done with the shorts. and Trevor has to go to work. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with some more of the shorts. If you haven't heard your one read yet, we will get there, and then we'll jump into narratives, which the narratives will be able to run through a little bit faster because there's 20 narratives versus 200. So, okay, we'll see you guys in just a few seconds. Sponsor of today's episode is Newsly. For the first time ever, the entire web becomes listenable all in one place. Newsly is an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android. It picks up the most trending articles on the web and topics you choose at any given moment and reads them to you in a nice voice. You can browse articles from topics you choose and start playing, so you can stop scrolling and start listening. You can follow any topics like sports, tech, business, science, Bitcoin, or even the Kardashians. It will find you the latest articles and read them to you out loud. And they have podcasts as well, exploring trending podcasts from over 80 countries. Our podcast, The Movie Moron, is there too. I started using it as my default podcast app lately, and they even have digital radio. Download and use Newsly for free now at www.newsly.me or from the link in the description, and use promo code THEMM that I will also put in the description and receive a 1 month free premium subscription service. So download the Newsly app now. All right. We are back again after
again.
no break for you, but a break for us. Or actually, I might have thrown some ads in there. We'll see. We are going through the last of the shorts that we need to go through. The next segment was a Geo Block short film program. So yeah, we're going to go through all of those. I hope we all have our notebooks.
Yes.
Yep.
Is that a lie?
No.
You're smiling at me like you don't have your notebook.
I haven't.
Okay. It looked like I didn't forget it, but anyways. The first movie on this docket, hopefully we can get through these very quickly and then we can get to the narratives, but there you go. I'm already seeing some that I had that were in blocks that weren't on there. Bo was the first one, directed by Isaiah Smith, producer Mike Sylvia and Isaiah Smith. Anybody watch that one?
Yes, that was the one that Trevor and I saw with the mom and
Gotcha. So yeah, that was one that we already talked about. So
Yes.
those are the directors. We already talked about the film. So yeah, Conviction. That is directed by Stacey Davis, produced by Lauren Musgrove and Maggie Brown. I did in fact see this one. I thought it was extremely interesting. It's about a woman that killed somebody's mother as because they were the father was having an affair. Basically, a mistress killed the mother trying to kill the father because she found out that she was a mistress and not and confronted him, and then obviously was not very good with a gun and shot the wrong person and accidentally killed a mother. And it was the daughter's perspective and the mistress's who's now like 70 years old because she was in jail for like 25 years or something. So that's why it's called Conviction. And I was just very interesting. Not something that obviously is common, and it was cool to hear that story. So yeah, Elvis of Laos is the next one. Director was Van Didiavong. Producer was Van Didiavong.
Yeah, that's another one that we saw in the
Sweet.
music and dance
Awesome.
shorts.
Well, there you go. Those are the directors and producers of that film, and we already talked about that one. The Hairdresser, or La Coiffeuse. I butchered it. I'm so sorry, but that was directed by Lorraine Price and Lorraine Price. Anybody see that one?
Nope.
Okay. No problem. La Macana, directed by Maria Mala, and producer was Bianca Biruti. Okay. Mama, directed by Aslak Dunbolt, and producer was Malid Menamuni and Mari Feaser. Anyone on that one?
Nope.
Okay. The Messenger, directed by Jessica W. Love, and producer was Jessica W. Love.
Nope.
My Dudas. I'm probably saying that wrong, but yeah. Tom Krauske. I'm so sorry. Is the director. Producer is Nick J. Suntory. The Perfect Fit was also in this blocket of movies. Is that one that you
It's
saw?
one we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Tallgrass.
Awesome. Menirdes Valkivakis is the director. I'm sorry. It's a Lithuanian name and a movie from Lithuania. So sorry for butchering that one. Producer, I will also butcher your name. But Akavili Bluchuti was the producer of that film. Placenta Patti. Director is Ty Salisbury, and producer is Chloe Brown and Saffron Watson. I don't think that was one that I saw. Either of you guys?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure. Tapping into our past, tapping into our future. Aodale. I don't even know how to say that word. That's a normal English word.
Yes,
think.
I saw that one. It was it was just a historical, informative history piece on tap dance as it came from African American culture into America.
Awesome.
America.
The director of that one was Jennifer Burton and Urisil Burton. And producers, executive producers were Henry Louis Gates. Normal producers were Gabrielle Burton, Jennifer Burton, Urisil Burton, Maria Burton, and Charity Burton of Five Sisters Productions with Taft's production team.
That makes sense.
So all the Burtons. We Are Here, directed by Dominica Castros and Constanza Castros. Producers are them, and they were the writers as well. I don't think... No, I did not see this one. It sounded familiar, but I don't think that was one that I saw. Non-negotiable, a couple... Oh, sorry. Non-negotiable director is Mike Doxford. Producer is Mike Doxford. Jill Winternitz, Christy Malcolm. Those were the producers. Director was Mike Doxford. So that's the end of that little segment. I think a lot of these are ones that got put into some short segments, from what I can tell. Blender, directed by Sarah Adams. Producer was Brett Castle, Sarah Adams, Maggie Wraith Austin. Bus Girl, director is Jessica Henwick. Producer is Louis Palmkivis Hansen. Deliver, director is Hannah Dweck. Producers are Theodore Schaffer and Haley Rawson. The Diamond,
Deliver is one that I saw in the
awesome.
horror shorts.
Oh, and
Already talked about
we
it.
already talked about it.
Just wanted to say that was it.
Yes, no. I want you to say that so that people know what you talked about is connected to these directors and producers and such. The Diamond, directed by Vadirin Rubik. Producer is Simon Macedonian and Christian Kusamanen. Dolabio is Fire. I'm sure I didn't say that correctly, but that is directed by Ithoshia Hilton, with the producers being Millie Marsh, Elizabeth Hopper, and Amy Dowd. Les Centuris des Rivas, Censor of Dreams. Director is Leo Barney. Producer is Charles Mari Anthonios, Mored Belkadar, Jean Duhamel, Nicholas Thermite, Camille Lambert, and Albert Zuarshvili. You guys can just listen to this as a comedy podcast and me trying to say names. The Nipple Whisperer, directed by Jan Van Dyke. Oh, Jan Van Dyke. Producer Nino Lombardo and Ben Van Den Nail. Risk Falling, directed by Jonathan Farcloth Kirk, also the producer. I did in fact see this one, and it was one of the ones that I did in fact enjoy. It was a cool bit. It had to do with podcasting, so obviously I was a little bit interested, but more showing the how fake money podcasters are. And how they're like, oh, you just need to do these things to gain wealth and blah, 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 and showcasing that all of that is fake. They got their money in different avenues, and they're just putting on a front to make more money, and they're just using you as a way to grow their wealth, because they already had wealth through, more than likely, some sort of family member that got them a job or gave them grants, because that's what happened in this certain scenario. So, yeah, I don't know. A decent, not necessarily life lesson, but a decent story there that was acted, I think, fairly well. Shark, which Tristan already talked about. Nash Edgerton was the director. Producer is Michelle Bennett. Slasher Squad, which is another one Tristan already talked about. Director is Nathan Stone and Stuart Campbell, and they were also the producers of the film. That is it for that block. August Sky. Director is Jasmine Tanucci. Producers are Carl Ulfson and Ricardo Murdoch. And Henrik Carvalhas. I don't think any of us saw that one specifically, but congrats on making it in. I guess this was a world premiere as well. So
cool.
I think maybe a lot of these were world premieres, these GeoBlock things, but I could be wrong. The Bathtub, directed by Sergei Marty, and then produced by Joseph Pye. Bird in the Peninsula, directed by Atishi Wada. This is one that I saw and I think was by far the most confusing of the movies that I saw. Over.
I was like, did I see that? That sounds really familiar. But no, you told us about it.
And I showed you a bit of it. It's by far one of the weirdest ones I saw. It's completely 2D animation with a very specific ancient art style with how they draw faces and stuff. And just a very odd story that I assume he was on some edibles when he wrote and decided to go ahead and write that story out. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was definitely out there, but at least drawn well and animated well. I will give it that. And I know a few people that I talked to all thought that this was the weirdest ones of the I don't remember exactly. It might have been the kitchen sink ones. That would make sense. But Danson, directed by Mark Appison, and then producer is Charlene George, Gal Greenspan, and then Andrew Mauger. The Dress, directed and produced by Marie Karkashazi. I'm sorry for butchering your name, and we even talked to you for a little bit yesterday at the last gala, and I did in fact see your movie, and thought it was a really good piece. She talked about how it was a commentary on how she wasn't able to see her son for a year and a half because of COVID and the travel restrictions and such, being I assume from out of the country and not just being able to travel back and forth and see your son. And so it obviously isn't specifically that story, but that's the inspiration behind it. And it has to do with not being able to see the son that your son. It's just a different way. And yeah, it was very, very interesting and also very sad at times. Horror, directed by Jeanette Deloney and also produced by Jeanette Deloney. The Lonely Store, directed by Amy Rohr and produced by Andrew Bergamo. Love Barbara, directed by Bridie O'Connor and also produced by Bridie O'Connor and Miriam Schroetier. And I'm sure that was a glorious sound for you guys to hear. We have the Vortex short films. I don't think anybody's got to see this block specifically, but there might be some that we saw out of this. Where Are the Flies? Directed and produced by Philip Davies. Emperor of My Melodious Mind? Melodious? Tristan's got it. Empire of the Melodious Mind. Director is Jeanette Louis, and also the producer is Jeanette Louis. Everybody Goes to the Hospital did in fact win a award for the weekend. So Everybody Goes to the Hotel, directed by Tiffany Kimmel and produced by Charles Piper and Mackenzie Stubert. May We Know Our Strength, directed by G.E. Ping and also produced by G.E. Ping. And then Amanda Fingbong Fikia. That's my...
Nailed it.
Yeah, you know who you are, Amanda, and you can look her up. Sorry for butchering your name, but that she was a producer on the film. Among the People, directed by Jodie Cleaver and also produced by Jodie Cleaver and City of Melbourne. Asaman, directed by Katrina Brooke Flores and produced by GIT Productions and Tuki LLC. I did in fact watch this one because I talked to, I believe, the director, so Katrina, before on one of the VIP happy hours or lunches or something of the sort, and talked to her about the film. It's very abstract, very more of a feeling and a trip than it is a narrative story of any kind, and she wanted it to be that. So she portrayed exactly what she wanted. It was supposed to be two eternal twins or soul bonded people, and that's kind of what they got. And said the film might be a lot of fun if you take some shrooms beforehand. So there you go.
Omnipotent.
Boom. Glow. Yep. See, it's just words in general. Dale Small is the director and also produced Omnipotent Glow. Yeah. 7 pounds 8 ounces was directed by Yo Lee, and then directed by Yo Lee, and then produced by Zinli Evelyn Martinez. I can't see her middle name, unfortunately. Cathedral. Wow, look at that. Cathedral, directed and produced by James Bessacara. Land and Flower, directed by David Wayne Reed and produced by David Wayne Reed. More Than I Want to Remember, Amy Bench, and produced by Amy Bench, Mugeni Ornella, and Carolyn Meerman. I think we only have one more short segment, if I believe correctly. I think that is true. Warshaw, directed by Danny Badir, and produced by Carolyn Diaz. Shall I Compare You to a Summer Day? Mohammed Shaki Hassan was the director. Then the screenwriter was also him, and there are no producers on that film. Trevor, I remember you said that you had a few that you still had to talk about. So were they not on the list?
Tapping In was one, and then the other one was you might have said it while I was in the bathroom. It was Better to Have Loved.
Better to have
I
loved.
don't remember.
Okay.
That one.
Well, why don't you talk about that one for a second, and then I'll find the ones that I didn't get on here yet.
Yeah, that was Better to Have Loved was a film by a friend of a friend, Nora Graham. And it was interesting. It was kind of a cool take. The sound editing in it was very good for being a student film. I was pretty impressed with it. Actually, much like the Florida State one, Wichita State helped produce this one, and so the production value just in general was pretty on the higher end. But yeah, she's the main girl in that, and Nora are both stage actresses turned film actresses, due to the pandemic and trying to maintain getting work.
Right.
So, yeah, but I enjoyed it.
Awesome. I think the only one I think it was stated, but I forgot that was the title. It's called Visions. I did watch that in front of Lowndes County and the Black Power. Yeah, that was a documentary. And Visions was, I guess, in the same field of that movie, so they definitely picked them to be together for a reason. But it shows stories of different immigrants, specifically second-generation immigrants, and that specific struggle of being raised by parents that have a certain viewpoint on the world and the United States of America, and then the struggle of having to be that intermediate person in the family between their country and the U.S. and all of that. So very interesting. It was a little anti-capitalist. That was one note that I put on there. So, but other than that, I think it was a very interesting story. I don't think there was anything else that I had on here that were not feature films. So,
There was one that I watched that was before a feature.
Yeah, go for it.
It was called Fake Tools. And I came in like right as it was starting, and I missed the title, but I saw it later when I was looking through the schedule and stuff. But there were no words. It was just sounds of like fake tools. So the first tool that was on there, it was 2D animation. And the first tool, they were scissors, but instead of blades, they were whisks. And so the sound of two whisks, like the image would move and you would hear the sound of two whisks hitting each other. And then there was like a hammer, I want to say wrench. I don't know if that's the right term.
Oh, of course, a hammer wrench.
What?
I'm just kidding.
It's fake.
Yeah.
It's a hammer on the top, and then it is the normal thing. And then it was like making the sound of going up and going down. Is that what a wrench does?
I need you to say that all one more time.
Is a wrench the tool that looks like this, that goes wide
A crescent
and then
wrench.
goes down?
Yes. Yeah.
That's real? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the top part was a hammer.
That's not real.
No,
But I see what you're saying.
that
Yes.
that was the fake tool that
Yeah.
showed.
Okay.
But honestly, okay, people were cracking up. Everybody thought it was like really funny. It was before
Funny movie, yeah.
it was before it started with a horse. And I could
Let's start with the
not
horse.
it did. I cannot handle the sounds. I wanted to throw up. I hated
Oh,
the
That doesn't
sounds
take a
so
lot of
much.
nutrition, though, so.
I'm just saying. That's why I said everyone thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It was,
And you were
Clever.
just like quenching and
but I'm like,
sound. They didn't have highly sensitive people in mind when they were making that film.
yeah. They weren't being inclusive to the HSPs.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I guess maybe the other
don't have
horror
to
movie
be.
we can make is just ASMR for 45 minutes.
Oh my goodness, no. Oh, stop.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, sweet. So that's the end of the. That's the end of the short discussion. We'll be doing a narrative that'll come out a little bit later. And if for whatever reason we haven't talked about your movie yet, it is very possible that it is in a section of a narrative feature, and we will cover it. Because we're just going down the list, and it says that now we're to the narrative film. So yeah, if we didn't have like a whole lot to say about your film, I'm sorry we didn't get to watch everything, but I hope you at least appreciated hearing that your film was recognized not only by Tallgrass Film Festival but also us and the people that went. There were people that watched it. There were people at every single segment throughout the festival, and people definitely saw your movie. And even though we didn't specifically, we still wanted to state your name in your movie, so that you and everybody around that listens to this knows your movie was shown and watched and appreciated for what it is and what it does for film festivals in general, but more specifically Tallgrass Film Festival. So thank you guys all for listening to the first part of our 17-part not Ducks on Back Tallgrass Film Festival. It should just be 3 parts, but we'll see what happens. Actually, I guess 4 parts with the interviews. But thank you guys so much for listening. We'll talk about narratives here in the next couple days, so stay around for that. If your film was a part of the not narratives, the features. If your film was a feature, we'll talk about those here in the next couple days. So thank you guys.
Hey, moron!
You talking to me? You talking to me?
And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
What an idiot! Well, what do you expect? I'm the movie moron.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Don't call me stupid.
Oh, right! To call you stupid would be an insult to stupid people! I've known sheep that could outwit you.
Yeah, well, you know, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
No, none taken.